I felt like this camera was going to be a lot better than my desktop or
Oh,
laptop.
so
My
yeah.
PC is like old, so like the video on it is not very good at all.
So y'all, we are officially live here. I'm gonna say I hate how it reverses the frame. So I'm like going left and it's making me look right on here. So what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another live chat, live Q&A. We got a special guest today, Mr. Ben Taylor at Raw Motivations, another self-aware narcissist. On the climb over on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, building his Facebook too. So if y'all on Facebook, Joe, check him out on Facebook too. Hello from VA. So there you go. So hello from some people from Virginia already in here. What's going on, y'all?
I can't see any comments.
Yeah. So I'm hold on. How do I do this? So can you see this right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we do. So when the questions pop up and stuff like that, I'll put them on the screen and things like that.
Okay. That works.
If you want to go tell your story here, Ben, so everybody can get to know who you are and things like that. So, Ben is on YouTube right now, y'all. He's a self-aware narcissist. He helps people. He does one-on-ones. He has a narcissist app. He has an app. Amazing app, NARC. Y'all need to check it out. Download in the App Store on Apple and Android. I got it on both my phones. So yeah, Apple.
Yeah, it's on both. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So right now I'm still trying to get the Apple one fixed because the Apple one still has you have to have the periods, N period, A period, R period, C period. Didn't realize that whenever I was making it. The Google one is fine. You can just type in NARC and it pulls right up. But the Apple one, I'm still trying to get that one fixed. But hopefully that'll be fixed in the next week or so.
Okay. All right. Perfect. See, there you go. Hello, my two favorite self-aware narcissists. Sorry, Lee. I love you both. Oh, there you go. Already look, causing narcissistic injuries off the rip. Thank you, Jackie.
Putting narcissistic tension there. I'm not used to this. The video is like mirrored, isn't it?
Yeah. So I told you I'm going right, but it's going. It takes a while to get. I'm just trying to hold still, just like
right. I was like, I moved, and I was like, wait, I'm moving the opposite way of how I normally.
Yeah. Get to the center.
Anyways, so, awesome.
There you go. Nia is here. What's going on? How to woman?
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna let Ben take the stage and whatnot, tell his story, how he got here, what he does, and things like that. He's also in therapy, and the floor is yours, Mr. Ben.
Yeah, so been in therapy going on just it's gonna be a little bit over a year now. Coming up on a year here in March, which is awesome. But yeah, so nutshell of my story. So got married. I thought getting married was going to be the fix-all. I thought that was going to fix me. I thought it was going to fix my problem. And so marriage was kind of like the pinnacle of like, oh, like that's the next step. That's what people do. And that's like normal. So got married and thought that was going to handle the cycle. I didn't know I had a cycle at that point. I didn't know I was cycling between girl after girl, relationship after relationship, and got into the marriage and realized, hey, it's not fixed. And it's not going to be fixed by that. And so started on a path of cheating and affairs. And not just that, but as far as like how I interacted with my wife, how I accused her of stuff, how I lied to her, gaslit, manipulated, like the whole 9 yards, like everything with narcissism, you name it, it was in there, except for like physical abuse. I was never like physically violent with her. But went down that road of so much stuff going on, so much lies, so much abuse, a lot of triangulation with other people, because every person that I cheated on her with were people that were in our friend group or like in our lives or that we worked with, things like that. So really just set up an awful precedent as continued to grow in marriage and in life and stuff like that. And it didn't change. It didn't happen. So as it continued to go, we got to a place where life was like sort of falling apart. Like job was kind of on the rocks, different things like that with all the things that I'd done, and got to the place where in a moment of like transparency, I like asked my wife, I was like something's wrong with me. Like I didn't know why and I didn't know what. I just knew something was weird. Something was off. And part of that was my work with teams. And I'd worked with teams for a period of time that I had to connect with a lot of people. I had to figure out like, how do I work with other people and connect with them? So that brought me into things like personality tests like DISC personality, Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, 16 personality, Strengths Finder, stuff like that. And all this stuff started highlighting for me different things about myself that I didn't like and that I didn't know. When I first took the DISC personality, I remember I showed Kayla, my wife, I showed her the DISC personality. There's like 27 pages of like, this is who you are kind of thing. And I was like, read these couple paragraphs. I was like, that's not me. That makes you sound like a jerk. And she's like, yeah, that is you. And I was like, oh, okay. And so like started like kind of on a quest of like trying to search and figure out like what the hell is wrong with me, because I didn't know. And it was very frustrating. It was just like this constant cycle, like going back and forth. And then finally had like a moment of transparency, like clarity. And once, and I was like, you know, what's wrong with me? I was like, maybe I'm a sociopath. Like, I don't know what's going on. So we like looked it up. We're like looking through it. She's like, no, actually, I think you might be a narcissist. And we like looked that up, and I was like, nah, like forget that. And like completely like gaslit her and everything like that. And then went to the point of like telling other people like, hey, Kayla thinks I'm this way. Like, you don't think that, right? And like manipulated them at times to go back and tell her that I wasn't a narcissist. And so, but that kind of started the path. It kind of like started like the opening of like, hey, like there might be something. This might be it. And then got involved with another girl who had like BPD traits and NPD. And that really started opening up my eyes too, because I saw the same things I was doing reflected back at me. I saw like what was happening just happen like straight back to me. And so that was kind of opening. And then I went through a group called Wake Up Warrior and did a Wake Up Warrior challenge. It's a 30-day challenge that opened up my eyes to the lies that I have. The lies between myself, like me and myself, lies between myself and my wife, between my job, between my boss, between God, like everything like that, that was just keeping me trapped. It was keeping me in the dark of who I was, what I struggle with. And so I started coming to that realization, and then started getting into therapy. I started realizing, hey, this is what I struggle with, and this is the awful person that I've been. And then slowly starting to figure out like, hey, this is how I step, you know, one day after a time to work on my growth to be the best person I can be with the stuff that I struggle with on a day-to-day basis. So since then, I got to the place where I started kind of reaching out, reached out to different people. I got to the place where I started posting some stuff on like my own personal pages, and didn't really get a lot of people that were interested. In fact, I come from a Christian background, Christian community, and I got more shame and more like hate from that when I was posting stuff about narcissism and stuff that I'd struggle with. So I like stopped, and then I transitioned over to TikTok about 11 months ago, and posted like my first TikTok video, and then slowly just all of a sudden started to see that blow up with people that wanted to hear more about it. And so how my mind works, I'm very like analytical driven, analytical mindset. And I think that's one thing that in talking with people, they enjoy hearing, where like a lot of times I'll take narcissism or different like moments and kind of like break it down like piece by piece of like, hey, this is what's happening, or this is what I'm thinking, or this is what they're thinking, kind of thing, which helps people understand. So we started doing one-on-ones, I guess 4 months ago now, and it's been crazy busy. So I have a full-time job, full-time husband, father, and then also all the videos and stuff like that. And then right now, I think last week was my busiest week. I think I had like 22 appointments. So it's definitely pretty busy. And then start up the NARC app. So Narcissist Abuse Recovery Community. Started that up February, launched 22 days ago, and that's been awesome. We've had over 1,000 people download and sign up on the app that are there, and more courses that are coming. We're actually in the middle of, I actually have an appointment tomorrow to talk with someone who's actually working on helping hopefully put together a course that she's already been working on with cognitive dissonance, to see about getting that on the app so people can actually learn more about it and all that. So anyways, that's me.
But there you go. There's being in a nutshell. I'm over here typing and responding to people asking questions and whatnot. And like I said, when I hear your story, Ben, it sounds like a lot like mine. You know, because like when I first told you, when I first like decided to quote unquote come out as a narcissist, the first people I did it with were, you know, my family and friends and things like that on my Facebook page. You know. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, I was expecting like, because you know, you look up narcissists, you're gonna hear all the bad stuff. You know, you get all the bad stuff, like, hey, demon, unholy, you know, evil, liar, whatever, you know. Right. There's nothing good you see about narcissistic personality disorder online. So I'm just like, you know, I feel like I you know, to me, I've done videos of this before. Like, I'm a good person. But I was trying to convince myself that I was a good person. So I decided to put stuff online about it, ask questions and things like that about it. I was like, hey, look, I got narcissistic personality disorder. Hey, I'm in therapy. I'm working on it, y'all. If you are something similar, you're not alone out there. And that's how I joined those self-aware narcissist groups, which have kind of got, flooded a little bit with people who don't, are not trying to get in there and things like that.
Right.
So you want to answer some questions? We can take some questions from the group right here over here. First question was
I finally am getting it set up. It's on your page, so I got your page and I'm pulling it up on my laptop so I can actually get up and see these comments live time with you.
Okay. All right. So the first question comes from a Kelly Kowalik. She says, do you think you give false hope to victims of narcissistic abuse?
Yeah, that's a good question. I try to make sure that I never give people false hope. Like I tell people, if you're not seeing consistent change or honest vulnerability, then leave. I've been very clear about, making sure my stance on no contact is pretty strong. If you're in an abusive relationship, you need to get out, focus on that no contact and make sure that you're free. But I definitely try to make sure that we're not giving hope to people. Like narcissists don't change. Like Lee and myself, we've been through a hell of a lot, but that doesn't mean that, the next person is going to change or is going to be willing to change.
So I agree with that too. I think that was one of my biggest dilemmas when I had first got started, on TikTok and stuff like that. My first video on TikTok was just like, hey guys, my name is Damon. I have narcissistic personality disorder. And look, it's not the end of the world, guys. You can get help like me. And then I got it was a flood of people just saying like, hey, you know how dangerous this is? And so like, what do you mean by danger? I was like, how is me talking about? So I get, I'm getting mad. I get mad immediately. I was like, how the hell is this dangerous? Me talking about my mental health. Or like I'm trying to give other people to get into therapy too. So how is this dangerous? And then, a woman named Tina Swinton, One Mom's Battle, who I still, that's still one of my day ones. I still love Tina. She reached out to me and she's like, she kind of explained it to me. I was like, oh, I didn't know. Like, okay, because I was angry. I was like, see, that's why people don't go to therapy, because stuff like this, you get stigmatized online. So that's why I had to come out and just tell people, because like me personally, this is when people ask me like, how do I get my narcissistic person to change like you? I see telling people like, I'm still a narcissist. It doesn't go away. You can work on altering the behaviors and your responses. To me, I feel like I've slowed myself down enough so I don't like react all the time. I react sometimes.
Right.
But I just tell people like therapy is not the end all be all, because you get a lot of people to go to therapy, honestly, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be better. Sometimes they get better at manipulating people. Sometimes they paint you out to be the narcissist or the enemy and things like that. So I don't want to give the hope to the wrong people. I want to give hope to people that need it, that are like at the end of their ropes. And it's just like, I need therapy type stuff. But there's not enough reason for y'all to stay because somebody goes to therapy. Just so I'd say that, y'all. So let's say Kelly, especially Kelly, we want to give Kelly false hope, So another softball quick. Can you see the chat yet, Ben?
Yeah. So okay. I see how do you react when your partner talk about hot and cold?
Yeah. So here's the next question right here from your girl Ro, who's also a narcissistic creator. She asked, how did you react when your partner called you a narcissist?
I completely denied it. Completely denied it, lied about it. To completely gaslit the whole thing. I didn't believe it. I was like, no, I'm not a narcissist. I'm reading this stuff, realizing yeah, this actually identifies a lot about me, but I can't admit that, because in the moment, that would be, that would be weak, to admit that I actually have these faults or these issues kind of thing. And then I remember going out and, talking to friends, talking to people that interacted, talking with other supplies, other affair partners, and saying hey, Kayla said this, can you make sure to go tell her? That's not true. I'm not that way. You don't think I'm that way, right? Just try to, manipulate back to the conclusion that I wanted.
So me in my situation, of course, I tell my story. I was, yelling at he's 6 or 7 month old son. He was getting my nerves. You know how your kids hold you back from accomplishing all your goals. So I was just, I was home alone. I could not get him to stop crying and screaming and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I'm yelling at him and stuff like that. Just this is the reason why I can't succeed or whatever. And then all of a sudden, his mom just happens to come home. We get into a yelling match or whatever. And then she, kind of yells out at me. She's like, well, it's so hard to live with a damn narcissist. It's like, me? What? I was like, if anything, you are a damn narcissist because I'm a good person. I help people. I inspire people to change. 'Cause I've been doing it on Facebook for a long time. You know,
Right.
I like, and, you know, I started getting on how long it takes her to get ready. Like, it takes me 3 minutes to get ready. It takes you forever to get ready. It's like, you a narcissist. You worry about your looking more than I do. You know, so then she leaves, and then, you know, I get curious and I look it up. I was like, damn, what? You know, if you type narcissist in Google, you don't get just, you know, there's nothing good on there. The word narcissist comes up, but then on the sidebar, it says the personality disorder, where it's pretty much debilitating. You have no hope. You're going to be, you know, pretty much who you are for the rest of your existence. And you also see the 9 traits of it. And I was just like, wow, I'm like, that's me. So it gave me, it kind of provided me the answers, because like I know you said this before, you feel different. You don't you just I feel like I stand out in the crowd for no reason. I'm just like, I feel out of place all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people, I've always felt out of place, even in something that was celebrating me. I was just like, this is weird. Why y'all so happy? Why y'all, and what makes you feel this way about this person? Why y'all holding hands in public? Stuff like that used to bug me. I was like, what makes you feel this way about this person? Y'all holding hands. Like, why y'all kissing?
Right.
I want that.
Right.
You know? So it wasn't a good reaction. So typically what happens when you try to call your partner a narcissist, they throw it back at you. You know, that's exactly what I did. That's why when people start saying, I started laughing, because it's like, that's exactly what I did. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that right there is an interesting word right there.
Yeah.
And so how do you feel about narcissist, the word narcissist overall anyway? Casey, close the door, man.
How do I feel about the word narcissist?
Yeah, how do you feel about the word narcissist? When people call, like, when people just use it, everybody's a narcissist and stuff like that. What do you think about it? You feel like the word narcissist is overused?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, I definitely think that the word narcissist is overused. Like it's a catch-all for a lot of the behavior and things like that. But then you have the flip side, where then you only have people that like, oh, you can only use it if the person's been diagnosed and they're, you know, X, Y, and Z kind of thing. And like that's kind of frustrating as well, because a lot of times that's enabling abuse, and a lot of times that's enabling people to stay in relationships of like, oh, well, they're not a narcissist, so like I just have to stay here, or things like that. And that's why I made that one video I know you saw just a little bit ago about like labels, because I was like, you know, if we call, you know, why can't we call people by, you know, what their trait is, like how they're acting, how they're interacting. So like if someone's a cheater, we don't say, oh, like they've got cheating characteristics, or if someone's a liar, we just don't say like, oh, they have lying tendencies. Like, no, we just call them a cheater, we just call them a liar. So when they show the 9 characteristics, when they show technically over 5 of the characteristics, we're just describing, hey, this is their behavior, this is what they're describing. We're not diagnosing people. But like the thing, people get so caught up with the idea of either narcissists is so overused that they ignore the people getting abused, or they have so many people that are like, oh, they have to be diagnosed for it to count, and as a result people are stuck in abusive relationships thinking like, oh, like this isn't narcissism.
So I'm gonna just add on to what you said, like, because I think Dr. Romney said, somebody left a comment in my comment section, was like, Dr. Romney said, you're not diagnosing them, you're describing them. So that kind of ties in everything you just said. Like, you know how you're being treated. For the most part, you understand. Like, if you haven't been gaslit to all hell and whatnot, and you just discover narcissistic disorder, you can have that kind of that matrix awakening, what I call it. Like, it's kind of like waking up in the matrix. You know and realize what you've been going through. You can never go back. Once you realize you're dealing with a narcissist, you can't erase it. Like, I'm gonna go back to being, you know, just not knowing that you're dealing with a narcissist. So you're just literally describing the behaviors. You're not diagnosing them as anything. Narcissist, right, is a descriptive term. You know, is it thrown around a lot? Yeah, because sometimes, you know, I get some one-on-ones. I get some one-on-ones and they just like they sound like the narcissist. I was like, whoa, what? You cheated 7 times and they got mad? Like,
Right.
They are the narcissists? I'm like, huh.
Yeah, where sometimes you might have a one-on-one where they talk about their ex being narcissistic, and you like listen to them and you're like, I'm not hearing it, you know? Sometimes it's like completely all over the place.
So this is a good question right here. It says it's not really a good question. It says NPD is a disorder. You can't cure a disorder or prescribe a pill. So how do you feel about narcissistic personality disorder or narcissism in this whole not having a cure for it?
For not having a cure?
How does it feel when you see stuff like that? It says there's no cure for what you have. You'll always be the way you are right now.
I think the thing for me was defining it that makes it a little bit different. Because before, when there was no definition, when there was no like idea of like what I was actually struggling with, like that was the worst. Like that was like the pit. And like that was like the awful part of like, hey, I have no clue what's wrong. I just know I'm different. I just know, X, Y, and Z, but I don't know how to get better. I don't know to work, how to grow, how to, handle some of these thoughts, these feelings, these whatever emotion that comes out of just as rage. Like I don't know how to deal with that. I think as a disorder, yeah, you're right. Like it's not something that people can prescribe as a pill, which I also think is probably the reason why so many people either take so long or are so unwilling to diagnose it, just because it doesn't make money. Like it really, like narcissism doesn't make money. Like if you have ADHD or even like BPD, like they can write a prescription and like make money off of it. But like narcissism, like you can't. And so it takes a lot of therapy and it takes a lot of time,
Yeah. So I've been in therapy for a minute too. So the way I've learned to reformulate my thinking is like I don't want to be. I don't feel like narcissism to me for myself. This is not speaking as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm a bad person. So I don't feel like what do I need to change about myself? Do I have rage instances and things like that? Do I want to feel normal sometimes? Yeah. But like since there's no cure, I feel like I've accepted that. And like I said, I'm just be the best narcissistic person that I can be.
Mm-hmm.
And that annoys people because people say, like, you are proud to be a narcissist. Like, what can I do about it? Like, I'm just gonna, sit and sulk all day. Like, I'm a narcissist. I can't get rid of it. Oh my God.
Right.
Today, every day is a different. I tell everybody, every day is literally a different struggle. No 2 days are the same ever. It's like a fingerprint. Like it's like a finger. Every day is a different fingerprint. No fingerprints are going to be the same.
Right.
So I put this on Facebook like literally 10 years ago, which is funny. And it was just like every day I wake up and battle my demons. Sometimes they win, sometimes I do, because I knew every day was gonna be a struggle. How I woke up that day was how the day was going to go. You know what I mean? And like I said, no one is perfect. Hold on. So yeah, I just feel like now it's like people just I don't care about it. You know what I mean? So being you said you were a Christian, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how do people treat you in the you said you touched on it earlier in your introduction. How do you feel like the Christian community will receive the narcissist stuff?
So like I guess the easiest way is like when I first came out with it, when I first like started talking to people and like telling people like, hey, narcissism cannot talk, is something I've been struggling with, and started like diving into like the ins and outs of it. Like I had several people like contact me and were like, why are you even posting this? Like Christians contacting me and being like, why the heck are you even posting this? And I had one guy in particular that I went to college with that contacted me like privately and was like, hey, like you really got to think what you're doing. Like you're putting all this stuff out there and your daughter's going to see this and other people are going to see this. And it just doesn't put you like in a good light or anything like that. And, I handled whatever the discussion was, but later thinking about it, I was like, good. Like, I hope so. Like, I hope it doesn't put me in a good light because I'm not trying to be in good light. I'm just trying to be honest. And I hope my daughter grows up and sees these videos and understands who I am, because I don't want her to end up with someone like me. Like, I don't want to end up with someone who has done the things that I've done, that has hurt the people that I've hurt and destroyed families, destroyed relationships because of it. Like, I want her to be aware. And the thing is, like, that's where you have to deal with honesty and with truth. And that's something that I have not lived in for the majority of my life, and getting to the place of admitting it and getting to the place of like, hey, the only way to change right now is to work on me being honest. And part of that is being honest with myself, with God, with my wife, and then honestly online. Just being able to communicate like, hey, this is who I am. Like, this is the shit that I've been through. Here it is.
Yeah, but that's perfect. Because I feel like, me as well with the daughter thing. I just like, it just bugs the hell out of me, man. I don't want to deal with that. I will go through I'll deal with all the criticism and stuff like that I have to. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine like my daughter being with somebody like me. I was just like, and you know what? That fear, I took it to therapy. I was like, look, I'll do whatever it takes for my daughter not to end up with somebody like me. She was like, well, you got to change. You got to be a better person. You just have to, because that's typically how it goes. Like, they attach to their father, and they subconsciously find somebody like you. So you need to treat her better. You need to do better with her mom. You need to, be a better person overall. So no, you can't get rid of what you have, but you have to make better conscientious decisions and slow yourself down, or you're gonna have to deal with the consequences later on in life. And a lot of narcissistic people, they are so erratic. They're so right now that they make decisions to destroy their entire life. They self-sabotage themselves. Because I saw somebody put in the chat earlier. It's like, does self-awareness help? Self-awareness can help here and there. You know what I mean? Well, Heather, appreciate the donation. Heather, appreciate it. She said several commenters asking about triangulation between the old and new supply. Ben, I know you have some experience with that right there.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you real quick, like whenever you're talking about like your daughter and stuff like that, would you say that was something that like made you start to change, or that was something that just helped perpetuate the growth?
That kind of was another catalyst in my growth right there. You know, because like my daughter's 1. I was already in therapy. I've been in therapy for 3 years before she was born. You know,
right?
And like I've been in therapy for 3 years, y'all, and my wife still left.
I'm
telling y'all, I've been trying to wake you up, like.
Right. Because I think some people like have in their mindset of like, oh, like when we have kids, or oh, when this happens, then they'll change or something like that, or it'll click, and it's not always like that simple.
Yeah, I talked to a lady earlier. She was like, pretty much thinking that having a kid was going to change this person. I was like, don't anticipate that right there. That will change.
Locks you in.
Heather, we're gonna come back to the triangulation thing in just a second. Hold on, I just saw this comment real quick. Sorry. I'm gonna go back through here. Sorry,
what you got?
God's favor, thank you so much. She said, thank you for this platform. This is wonderful. Keep up, put in the great work. So shout out Ben's channel real quick. Ben is on YouTube too, y'all. Check out Ben. He got a YouTube page and a Facebook page. Both are under Raw Motivations. Ben Taylor, fire content, y'all. You see how he's talking right now? This is what you get every day on Ben's channel. And on TikTok and on Instagram, YouTube, all the other good stuff. So check him out. Raw Motivations. It's raw. Like, listen, isn't the name? It's raw motivation. It's the raw motivation. It's raw. You get it. When you have cheated, was it easy to do? Was it more of an object constancy type of thing and instant gratification? Did we as your partner even matter?
What's we as our partner? Like
I think this person is recommended like she is the survivor, like she was the partner getting cheated on.
Right. No, I mean there's not a we in the situation. There's just myself, and there's just what I want. And so as a result, like I went for what I wanted. You know, the thing with me is like I don't struggle with like a sex addiction where I'm like going out and getting like hookers and stuff like that. Like it was more or less like developing a relationship with someone else into sex and like into that affair and things like that. And so like as a result, like it became to the place of like I'm trying to get with someone and be with someone, and all I'm focusing on is what I want. And so I'm going to twist that around in my mind of I'm not getting what I want at home. I'm not getting validation at home. Like I'm not getting X, Y, and Z. And then that becomes the victim mindset of like, wow, like at home is so bad. Like my life is so bad. And you use that to be able to get into another relationship saying like, man, like, you know, I just want to feel like heard, like no one's like listening to me, like my wife's doing this or whatever. And like that starts that empathy from another person and started getting into that relationship until that relationship would kind of expire and then move on to the next one. So for me, like it was easy to do as far as like as you get into lying constantly, it gets to a place of that disconnect of where you disconnect one reality from the other. And as you dive into the other reality, like the more you can put into it, the more it feels real. And then you just kind of jump back and forth between the two, which I have a video just about like lying and about like that kind of like jump. And that's where you get like a lot of narcissists that really believe or come across very believable in their lies, because when they're in that one side of reality, they think they're telling the truth. They at least appear and appease themselves thinking they tell the truth.
Yeah. So back in my heyday, my earlier underwear narcissistic days, in my early 20s, like when I especially when I was like my previous relationship, who was actually another narcissist. This is weird. When I would go out on that person or whatnot, it would just be because somebody presented themselves to me. And that's what I tell people: looks don't typically, for me especially, looks don't matter. It was just people showing interest. You would show me interest, and I was like, oh damn, me? You're not going to reject me? Oh, wow. Okay. Thanks. You know, it would just be in the moment. It didn't, no feelings, no anything, you know, just go.
Right.
It's just on the go right there. Somebody say you are so funny, but true. Oh, there's another question on here. That was a great answer though.
Heather asked something about triangulation, remember?
Yeah, we're gonna go right back to Heather after this one right here. Okay. Do you both counsel and or help people who think that they may be narcissistic and into therapy? Can you help find therapists? So have you've done one-on-ones with narcissistic people before, have you?
Yeah, I've got a couple in the books. I had one that actually just scheduled like just before we got on this, I saw it pop up. But yeah, so like I talked to some narcissists. So I guess like all right, so if you have a narcissist, you want me to talk to them, don't bother. I don't want to waste my time. So if the narcissist wants to reach out and wants to talk to me, like, okay, we can talk. But otherwise, like, it's just a waste of my time if I'm trying to hunt down your narcissism. I'm trying to like work on them or change them kind of thing. Because unless they want to change, like nothing's going to happen. Unless they're willing to be honest, then it's not going anywhere. Unless they're willing to be vulnerable, then nothing's happening. Like there's no point. But I do talk to a couple narcissists. I've got a couple that I'm in like regular talks right now. A couple that have like doing like repetitive coaching, and I can't say whether whether we're making progress or not. You know, the jury's out on some of that. You know, I try my best. I've got one guy I know for sure. He's actually, I don't know where he's out of country, but I have one guy that is making some good progress with a couple of different things that have been really neat. But I would say this: the majority of narcissists that I talk to don't come back. The majority of narcissists I talk to one time and then never hear from them again. What I have found is very interesting is I've done only in like the couple months I've been doing it, I've done I think like 3 one-on-ones, well 2-on-ones with the husband and wife, and those prove extremely interesting because you can normally see it like instantly. And that's the thing I've been noticing, because I just had one yesterday, and like literally like you see it like instantly and you see what's going on with both of them. And man, it's just crazy. I don't even know how to describe. But yeah, so like I try to encourage narcissists to get into therapy, to get help, and just to stop fucking lying. Like if they're not gonna stop lying, then like nothing's gonna happen. I don't really have a great resource, and that's something that honestly we all need to work on and like compiling to hopefully try to find some more resources available for people to get into therapy. The therapist I see is only in state, so it's not like she can go anywhere else, and she's already kind of booked. She now kind of has like the narcissist label of therapists in our section, because she's like, you kind of started something for me. But yeah, so I counsel people whenever I talk to them to get into therapy and stop the lies. I try to talk to a couple narcissists. Sometimes it does somewhere, sometimes it doesn't.
So me, I've talked to quite a few narcissistic people as well, and typically it's the whole one and done thing. I've actually had to end sessions with narcissistic people as well, because you can kind of tell when they're trying to use you to manipulate somebody else. It's the ambush sessions, you know, the ambush where you don't expect to talk to 2 people. I hate those, like literally hate those more than anything. But like I say, y'all, there's like, you can put people in contact with therapists, but my therapist might not work for Ben. Ben's therapist might not work for me. You have to resonate with your person, has to resonate with the therapist, because like, think about it. If you break down therapy to its simplest form, I would describe it as, you know, finding a helpful stranger that you can share, who you can trust to share your deepest, darkest secrets with, and the bad shit you've done in your life. Just a stranger, and it can't be somebody close to you and things like that. So yeah, that's why I said you can help them, but like you can try to help them, but they have to want to get help. They have to want to get here. Like Ben's not right here if he doesn't want to be right here. Right. I'm not right here if I don't want to be right here. You know what I mean? So okay, back to this question right here. Triangulation between the new and old supply. And no, you want to explain what triangulation is?
I feel like I don't have the best way to describe it. So like triangulation is where you use another person to be able to up your current status of supply. Like triangulation is where you have a third party that you bring in, and this could be like physically, mentally, emotionally, or just talking about the other person, just showing pictures, whatever it might be, of, you know, going back and saying like, hey, like this person treated me a lot better, or like, why don't you do this because this person does this, or whatever. But like triangulation is, in one sense, you're trying to increase your current supply amount by using someone else. So if I set another person in the picture of like, hey, this person, or like all my exes did this, like why can't you do this? Like that's like an aspect of triangulation where I'm trying to set the bar higher than what you're giving me so that I get more out of you per se. And the crazy thing is like it doesn't just happen like in the romantic relationships. It'll happen with like family members. It'll happen like all these different types of dynamics that happen. Sometimes people think it's only that in a particular way, but triangulation, like I've seen triangulation happen like with a narcissist and like an ex or a brother or like a daughter, like all this kind of stuff. There can be multiple ways of triangulation that's basically showing the other person that they're not good enough or they're not matching their standard to try to make them work harder which is what the narcissist wants someone to work hard for them, so they can feel better about themselves.
Yep. I love what you just said too, because I'm just add to it, more supply, less energy. If you can get somebody else to do the work for you, bravo. You just like, you see let's say two women fighting over you. You just sit back and watch it, and they fight over you. Like, yay, wow. So don't, like, in triangulation works like it's a triangle. It's three. Typically, it can be more people, but typically it's three people. A triangle. The narcissist at the top. Right. There's two in the corner. Y'all are pitting. The narcissist pits you against each other by lying, manipulating you both, spreading false information, rumors, and things like that. And now y'all are enemies. And y'all both vying for the attention of that narcissistic person. You know what I mean? So, and things like that. So I hope that helps y'all. I'm sorry, we got a lot of questions popping over here. So with your present self-awareness, do you think you would try to isolate your partner again?
I'd say no, because I think with the awareness, it comes in the idea of like, I know where I have to be now, and I know that I have to not try to control. Like, that's really like a big part of it. And I think also, like, with Kayla's healing, there's also a big aspect that she wouldn't let me isolate her now. Like, there's no way. Like, if I tried to isolate her now, like, she'd be gone. So like, there's also a big aspect of like her awareness, her boundaries, and her goals of like where she's going in life and where she is right now. Like, she knows, like, she already has her boundaries in place.
So again, I'm gonna start going first, Ben. You're asking too many of the questions. No, look, he isolating the chat. So there you go again. So my self-awareness, I feel like it works the same way. I just feel like there's no point. Do I catch myself trying to do it sometimes when I say stuff in the moment? I'm like, damn, that's teetering the line right there. So I catch myself. It's kind of like, but it comes out. Sometimes it like literally just comes out first. You're like, why say that? But now I gotta stay. Back in the day, I would just try to stand on it and just back up my point, no matter how stupid it was. But now I'm just like, damn, sorry about that. Yeah, I know.
I catch it myself, like almost like, I want to say like teasing or joking, but it doesn't always come across that way, because like obviously it's not something to joke about, you know. But you know, like the stuff that I've done in the past, it's easy to like, oh, so you don't want to hang out today, or like, oh, so you don't love me because you're going this, like stupid stuff like that. That like now, like, she'll just be like, really, like, get over it, you know. But like stupid stuff like that like pops up. Yeah.
So I'm gonna read this one real quick. As a victim myself, the work you're both doing is helping so many people. Keep going. No offense, Lee. Where's that block button? There's a block button. Thank you so much, Angela. I really appreciate that, for real.
Angela was my first moderator on YouTube, and she was shooting people awesome. Down left and right because I had all these people spamming me nonstop. So she's been amazing.
That's awesome. Like I said, Ben is on YouTube, y'all, as well as, you know, as Raw Motivations and things like that. Raw Motivations on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook too. So if you're watching on Facebook, Ben also has a Facebook page as well under Raw Motivations, Ben Taylor. So check him out on Facebook too. He posts, you know, the videos there too. What's something on here? Appreciate that, Michael Justice. Did you have a question? Typically people ask questions with that. Somebody said Corey Jane Goodall. Good question. I'm gonna try to find that real quick. Sorry, y'all. I'm scrolling. There's so many questions on here, y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all got some good questions. It's probably way up there. Sorry. This goes for everyone in therapy. One size does not fit all. Yeah. So my therapist might, like I was saying earlier, my therapist might not work for Ben. Ben's therapist might not work for me. It's just like, you got to find somebody that fits you.
Was your therapist like your first one that you found, or did you kind of shop around?
Yeah, first one. Okay. So I got on Psychology Today, and I sent out an email to like 3 or 4 people, and she's the first person to respond. And I've been with her, you know, for a while now.
Yeah. So for me, like, I shopped around. Like, I got with, I did EMDR therapy. I did that for, I don't know, like 2 months or so. And then stopped with that. But then I started shopping around. There's a point where I was seeing, I think, like 4 different therapists in like 1 week kind of thing, trying to figure out like which one was going to work. A couple petered out, couple just did not fit, like clashed, and then went with the one that I'm at with now. Went through the first session and got like halfway through the session, kind of like telling my story and telling like what was going on. And like, as she was asking me questions, there was a moment that I like felt like emotion. And I was just like, what the hell is this? You know? And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, like, in my journey, I was like, this must be the right place I'm supposed to be. And absolutely the best decision to stick with that therapist. And it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's good. Right. That's good right there. So Like the mine was just like a good, because mine, I feel like a lot of transference goes into my therapist because I feel like she kind of looks like and talks like my wife. So it's kind of like I'm talking to her. So it's kind of like some transference going on there in that situation. This person says, so if you have self-awareness, then narcissists can change. So you think self-awareness is the end all be all for, narcissistic people? You think self-awareness is, if you self-aware, does that mean you have to be a good person?
Does it mean I have to be a good person?
She's like, if you have self-awareness, then narcissists can change.
Yeah, I mean, I think that narcissists can like work on themselves, but like self-awareness doesn't always mean, like you're saying, like self-awareness doesn't always mean that you're going to be a good person. Like there's a lot of narcissists out there that are self-aware and they love it. They're like, yeah, I'm the awesomest person in the world and I don't really care if I run over you. Like a lot of narcissists that I would say there is a decent amount of narcissists that do know, they're narcissistic in some ways, or do know just the pride stuff that they don't really care. Like they acknowledge, like I see the attributes that I have in my life and screw you kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I tell sometimes I tell people like this self-awareness doesn't mean you're going to be a good person. Also, self-awareness can provide an excuse to continue being the person you already are. Hey, look, I went to therapy. I'm self-aware like you wanted. There's no cure. I can't change. So this is who I'm going to be. Take it or leave it. And some of y'all will take it. You're just like, well, I guess I have to take it. They did go to therapy. And you'll stay in this situation because you think self-aware narcissistic people is the end all be all. Sometimes they get self-aware and become worse because you see that stuff, no cure, no change, no hope. You see that stuff repeated over and over again. It can make you very, very angry at the world because you get to this, I remember I used to have these moments where I'd be like, why me? Why? And, I got a twin brother that's not like this. Like, why me? out of like literally everybody in the world. Why do I have to be like this? So I used to get angry sometimes. Like, if this is who I'm going to have to be, I'm just going to be this. I gotta be him. So I have to be this type of person. Right. So yeah, somebody post his link to Facebook. Ben, your Facebook link off the top of your head?
No, I don't. Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat.
Okay. So this person says, appreciate the donation. It says, is it ever safe or a good idea to tell a narcissist he is a narcissist? I want to help him and don't know what else to do. So again, in that situation, Ben is searching right now, y'all. So in that situation, so Ben said this earlier, like he didn't believe that he was a narcissist. He tried to talk his wife and everybody else out of it. I also didn't believe it either. Typically, because there's no positivity associated with being a narcissist, y'all. There just isn't. Like I said, nobody wants to be a narcissist. Like it's pretty much an insult, So you call somebody a narcissist, you're insulting them. It's not like hey, you're such a narcissist and I love it. You're not going to say that, right? You're saying like you're a narcissist, you need to change right now, you bastard. You're insulting them pretty much to them. So it's you take it as criticism. Because although the word narcissist back in 2017, when I heard it for the first time thrown at me, it doesn't carry the weight that it does now. I still knew it wasn't a term of endearment. So, and typically people are going to take that and run with it. They'll take it and run with it and try to make it seem like you're the narcissist. So like I say, most people just tell you not to tell them because like, what can you can't, they have to want to be, they have to want help and to get help. There was some woman tagged me on TikTok, on Instagram one time on like a super private page where she had just posted a video just for me to see. She was like, I just hacked in, my husband was asleep. I just hacked into his TikTok and I started liking all your stuff. Hopefully it'll pop up on his For You page and he can see it. I was like, what? I said, what? I was like, he gonna see that and they're like, what the hell? Who the hell is this? You know what I mean?
There is.
Yeah, I was like, who the hell is this? Like they gonna see that. And she said that. I was like, wow, yikes. You know what I mean? So like I said, the benefits, I mean, the cost, because what's the chances of you thinking that person, have you ever mentioned therapy to this person before? Because like if you haven't mentioned therapy or anything like that, it's kind of like, I'm not trying to destroy your hopes tonight, but I just feel like that person better than we do. So how would they take being called a narcissist or how do they take criticism? Because a lot of narcissistic people, if they are narcissists, they don't take criticism very, very well. So they will take your criticism and meet it with some criticism back towards you. So right. I would say, be careful on that right there. Hold on. Where'd she go? Nia said she asked a question here a few seconds ago. I think it's just about a narcissistic mom or something like that. So there's a compliment. You guys are everything. Appreciate that.
She asked something early on about our Like, why do we continue in therapy or something? Here, I'll put my beacons link. I was like, why am I trying to find individual links? Let me just put the main one.
Well, Nia, she asked a question. She sent me a text message. What is the best way to co-parent with a narcissist? That's a good question right there, and that's a wild one right there. Because when you're dealing with a narcissistic person, like because Ben you don't co-parent. You're like y'all parent together, y'all actively parent together. So it's kind of like
Right.
different when you you living
And
together.
we're still together there.
So me, I actually have to co-parent with my son's mom. You know, I have a 13-year-old that we both share each other, and it's like I still could sometimes catch myself, just I'll be in bad moods and I'll just trigger her into a bad mood and stuff like that. So I feel like even though I'm working on myself, it's still a little difficult here and there because I still have to be right when I'm trying to parent. You know what I mean? I just like I know how to parent better than you do because I'm older and stuff like that. But a lot of times, narcissistic people will try to counter parent you. They'll just try to go against your wishes just to annoy you. So if you like said, Ben, if you want to raise a Christian, they was like, no, we're gonna be Muslim in this household. You can be Christian over there, but over here, we're gonna be doing Ramadan and all kinds of stuff over here. So good luck. But like look up parallel parenting. I think parallel parenting will help you out a lot because it's kind of like where you parent your way at your house, and then y'all just there's like a parenting notebook and stuff like that. I haven't done a lot of research on parallel parenting, but I hear all the kind of experts mention that. You know what I mean? I hear a lot of experts.
Here I found it. Unless she's already posted again. She said, "Does your drive to continue working with your therapist and working at changing come from within you or from the pain you've inflicted?" There you go.
There you go. When you said that, I was like, I saw it. So you want to answer it? Go ahead. I gotta read it.
All right. Does your drive to continue working with therapists and working at changing come from within you or from the pain you've inflicted?
So this is yeah, don't judge me when I say this, y'all, but I don't really kind of focus on the stuff that I've done in the past anymore. Like, so a lot of people ask me similar things to that. They're just like, do you go back in the past and apologize to the people you hurt before? Like, if I focused on I'm 36 years old, y'all. If I focus on the amount of people that have entangled with me and gotten hurt in some way, shape, or form, it would be damn near impossible. There'd be some other stuff added to my mental load. You know what I mean? So I feel like my drive to continue work with my therapist right now is purely based on me wanting to be the best version of myself now. It's based on me wanting to help as many people as I can, to reach as many people as I can, and to change, just change the perspective and like say to give hope to the people out there who might be feeling lost. Not to the people who want to help the lost, but the people who feel lost because they have to want to do it themselves. Like I'm at the end of my rope. I'm literally at rock bottom. I lost my wife. I lost my kids, my job. I'm just, I'm done. And then you happen to come across, hey guys, I'm a self-aware narcissist. You see Ben talking, about his Christians, about being about Christian, his Christian upbringing, and being a Christian right now in his relationship with God. You hear that, and it might resonate with you. Like, damn, he did this. Wow, let me work on myself. He might pull his Bible out, download the Bible app or something like that. You never know who you're gonna, you never know who you're gonna touch. So I think focus on me now is a little bit of both because I don't want to go back to causing pain to people, of course, but sometimes you can't help that. But more along the lines of my drive to just be the best version of who I can, best version of me, the best narcissist that I can be.
Right. I would say for me, it's like a little bit of both, but it's more on the side of like within me. Because again, well, one, as a narcissist, like I don't want to look at the past anyways, it's more about the future. But like for me, the things that I'm realizing is like, hey, if I don't at least acknowledge like the past, if I don't acknowledge where I am, if I don't acknowledge the work that I need to continue to do, I'm just destined to repeat the past. And that's the thing that I've seen so many times over and over again in my life is like it was very cyclical. It happened over and over again. Like it wasn't like I had it down to a science of like 6 months or 5 months like some people do when they deal with a narcissist, but like for me, like it was a cycle. And so I know like if I don't want to go back to that, the only way I cannot go back to that is continue my growth forward. If I don't continue that growth forward, if I stay where I am, I'm going to get stagnant and I'm going to get sucked back in. And so for me, like a lot of that drive is coming from within. A lot of the drive is coming from like, I don't want to go back to that shit.
Yeah. That is perfect. Let me ask you a question though. So do you feel like being self-aware has made your life better or worse?
Ooh. That's like a double-edged sword. So I would say better. I would say better as a whole. I would say definitely like better. But like the moments where it feels worse is like the moments of calm and the moments that aren't chaos because I'm not in control. And so like that's the part that feels like worse for me at times. It's like I have to release people, I have to release things. I have to release, control over things that, I would control all the time before. And so there is an aspect of like being more self-aware is frustrating and it's more annoying because like I have to admit that I'm wrong. I have to deal with my shame. I have to deal with my guilt. Where before I could just be like, screw you and do whatever I wanted, And so like there's an easy mentality about that, but it doesn't mean that it was easier in reality. Like it was still harder in a lot of aspects. And there was a lot of like, you hear like the void or the pit that people are like in, that they don't know how to get out of, like that cycle, everything like that. I don't want to go again. That comes from myself and from within. Like, I don't want to go back to that.
No. That's a good answer right there because, like I said, I'll be feeling the same type of way. First of all, Scott, thank you for the donation or whatnot. But like I said, if you have a question, shoot it in there. I'll try to find it in the mix. But like, so to me personally, I feel like self-awareness is kind of like you just said, like a double-edged sword as well, because you kind of get, you wake up to the stuff that you're doing. Like now you're like, so back in the day, if you asked me to describe my life, I would feel like my life has gotten better right now because I've been self-aware, because I work on myself, And like you say, you work on yourself as well. Like you're on your podcast early in the morning, you're still reading, you're helping people, you're doing your thing right there. I feel like my life has gotten better because I work on myself. But it's kind of like I'm an active participant, whereas I feel like the first 31 years of my life, I feel like I was on co-pilot to my life. Like, I feel like I can when I go back and look at my life now, it's kind of like I look at it and I was there, but I wasn't there at the same time. It's just like, now, who the hell is that doing this shit? I'm just like, who is that person like manipulating this and setting these little schemes in order and in plans and things like that? You know what I mean? Appreciate that, Easy Beast. Appreciate that. Somebody said, how do you criticize a narcissist? I feel like that's simple, y'all. I feel like just go against what they say, disagree with them. Just feel like that's simple right there. It's like the disagreements and things of that nature. I feel like you can criticize a narcissist easy.
Yeah, but it not coming back to bite you is the hard part.
Yeah, I just feel like use discretion. I always say that in my videos, like hey, I'm gonna say this, but use discretion because some people.
I was trying to think of like a good way to like describe it. Like criticizing a narcissist is like throwing like 100 bouncy balls at the wall and expecting not to get hit on the reverb.
Okay,
like it's gonna come back to bite you.
Oh yeah, it will. They definitely can. So Scott says. He forgot to add his question. Have you told people you were intimate with that you loved them and never meant it? Let me see. I don't think I've done that.
I don't think I've done that personally.
I don't think I've done that. I think it's so me. So do people do that? Yes, they would 100% do that. But I don't think me personally. I don't think I've done that. I just don't feel like I've had to. I feel like I don't think it has gotten to the point where I feel like I need to tell somebody I love them to secure them. I just feel like. If I'm involved with you, I'm talking to you or whatever, I'm treating you a certain type of way, then you should feel that. I don't think I've ever had to lie. But some people will do that, to keep you from leaving, to keep you there with them and things like that, to keep you around. Just like, I love you. I wouldn't do that to you. I love you. I'm here, right? I love you so much. I'm not going to cheat on you. I love you. But then like the whole time be cheating on you because to a lot of people, love is just a word. It literally is a word that binds people together through thick and thin, and have you up and down the walls and stuff like that, trauma bonded and pulling your hair out and going crazy.
Right. I feel like the times that at least for me, like you might have this time as well, but I feel like the times at least for me that I might have like ever said that would just be like in those like fits of anger where you're trying to hurt the other person, but like status quo, like regular everyday to day, like it's not about like doing that. It's more or less like keeping that person.
They keep them around. Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said, doesn't matter. Mostly unheard when you start. Sorry, bye. I'm going through some questions real quick, y'all.
There you go.
Study the DSM-5 as part of psychology. The last time Ben read the DSM-5, he got attacked on TikTok. So
I have it up on my main screen right now. Actually, I was using it in a one-on-one earlier today. We were actually going through some of the stuff on antisocial, but like I've got DSM-5 right up here, everybody.
Last time he literally read out the
I read
DSM-5.
off borderline and I got like shredded.
Yeah, literally read off the DSM-5 and people went crazy. I hit you with a Hail Mary. Sorry, yeah, I'm reading through these. Good question, good question, good question. Well, Brian, I love your question. So I just scrolled through like 10 people saying good question.
Oh yeah, that was when she put up that one question about like what drives us.
Oh, I'm way behind there.
Yeah.
What's going on? Hey, Common Sense, how you doing?
Mine are going live right now, so I'm like kind of tracking where we are, but I think I'm ahead of you.
Oh, yeah, I'm scrolling. I gotta scroll down real quick. Somebody just asked some questions.
Stupid.
I'm way behind. I get to looking up and I get behind. Best way to recover from narcissistic abuse. What do you feel like is the best way to recover from narcissistic abuse?
Well, I guess like first step is like you typically can't heal when you're still in it. So getting out, getting safe, and going no contact, getting to a place where you can be safe, you know, is a big one. Like emotionally, mentally, physically, sexually, like safe. Like you have to get into a place where you can actually be able to process and learn a lot of different things. And then typically people are stuck in what's typically like a trauma bond. So it's almost like Stockholm syndrome, where you're attracted to your abuser, or where you still want that person, even though you know that they're toxic for you. And a lot of times trauma bond is built on hope, or is built on, you know, shame of like, maybe I should have done something better, or maybe they're going to change. And being able to work through that and be able to get away from that is huge in your effort of recovery.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like I don't know if Heather is still in the chat or whatnot, but Heather has a good Heather actually started to heal while she was still in it. So I agree with you. So because I used to say that you can't heal it in the same environment that made you sick. Mm-hmm. So I think after talking to Heather and hearing her story, I changed it up a little bit. I like, you can't fully heal in the same environment that made you sick, because she started to heal and she disconnected from her. Like Heather Coleman-Vall, she's in the chat right now. It took her 18 months to leave her narcissistic abusive relationship. She had to plan it out and things like that. She had to set a plan in order, and broke the trauma bond. She did all that stuff within the 18 months that she was still healing, I think from a surgery or something like that. She was still, or some type of financial abuse. My mind is running low right now. But it took her 18 months to plan to leave. But then I think he left. She got the house clean, got everything out there, and she ordered protection. She was gone, donezo. No, no contact. And she started to heal in there. What's that saying? Somebody said, observe, don't. Oh, God. Somebody is a saying. I mean, when you were trying to break, like, I think Heather was using gray rock and things like that to get out of there too. So yeah, I remember her telling her stories. I changed my saying up because Heather,
she said you can get up to 85% healed.
Okay, 85% healed.
Okay. I guess being with.
Cool. That's it.
It probably depends on like what level and what type of person they're with. But I know like hers was more on the sociopath side. It wasn't just like traits of narcissism or stuff like that. You know, it was definitely a lot more than that.
Yeah, she had some darkness in her relationship.
Right.
So, yes, the religion disagreement. Thankfully, he gave up after many years. Thank you both for your content. It's been years, but this is a helpful reminder with meeting new people. Yep. Slow down. Take your time, y'all. You got it. I promise it gets better, y'all. It gets better if you allow it to get better. You know. Right. So it's like exactly. So I believe I 100% wholly believe in God. I do. I pray every night. I read the entire Bible. I'm just, I'm more spiritual than religious right now, because like it's just too much going on right now. But I pray to God every night. I believe in God. I support people who believe in God. I actually read the Quran too. To try to kind of bond with people on the Muslim side of things like that. Why does the narcissist put so much effort into being covert and hiding the cheating? Why not just leave and be single or move on to the next?
Yeah, so like a narcissist doesn't want to leave and be single, because a lot of times, especially if they've already been, if you're married to one, like at that point, like it's a lot easier to stay. It's a lot easier to control the chaos that they're ensuing in your life, and they don't have to worry about looking bad, because they're obsessed with their image. They don't have to worry about looking bad to the community, to their family, to other people around. Like it's easier to stay in a relationship and make life hell for you than it is to actually own up and admit, like, hey, I actually don't love you, don't care about you, don't want to leave. That would be a bad aspect of their image, because again, it goes against that premise of them being a good person. It goes against the premise of like them not having anything wrong or doing anything wrong to other people. So like as a result, it's a lot easier to easier to stay in that relationship and make someone else's life hell than actually own up. Because if you actually own up, that goes against one of the main things going underneath narcissism, and that's being vulnerable, being honest. And if they're not willing to be vulnerable and honest about the situation, nothing's going to happen. And as a result, they'll just stay forever.
Okay, that's the perfect answer. You know, also to add, I think because you already know, you said, why does he not just leave and be single? He could say the same thing to you. Nobody's holding you hostage here. Why don't you just leave if you know you're cheating? Why does he need to admit to it if you already know it? You know what I mean? Because I feel like admitting to it gives you control, gives you power, and you allows you to smear his reputation if he comes to that point. You know, so if you know it, then you got to act on it. I feel like the longer you stay in a relationship like that, you know, the more they think it's okay.
Yeah, and I think it'd be good to say, like, whenever you take them back, you know, how that accelerates. I know we've both done videos on that, but like a lot of times when you take back a narcissist, like, or just any abuser, you take them back, you'll see the abuse continues to grow. The abuse continues to get worse and worse. And, you know, and talking with different people, like I've seen it like firsthand where they've like said like, oh, like this happened, I brought him back. It accelerated almost every single time.
Well, perfect. So
I'm gonna see if I can mute my notifications without like messing this up.
That's what the saying is right there. I have to put it in the chat. It says, observe, don't absorb, respond, don't react. So that's perfect right there, y'all. So when you're trying to break the trauma bond, if you can't leave immediately, observe, don't absorb. Observe their actions, observe the things they're doing. Don't absorb don't absorb their words or their treatment and things like that, because they're going to come at you. Because like I'm telling y'all, narcissistic people have a sixth sense when you're about to leave. I can feel it. Like, damn, you're unhappy. Let me go ahead and give you a little love bomb in here. Let me go and do this for you right here, just to to hold you over. It's kind of like if you're
very observant.
Yep. Just if you're starving, just give you some breadcrumbs. Here you go. There goes the intermittent reinforcement right there.
I think narcissists are very observant. I mean, I feel like in talking with more people in one-on-ones, you find more that are just like really stupid, especially as far as like lying goes. But like I do see like a lot of like ones that are like extremely observant, and they change like their personality, they change how they interact, they change the perception of the other person very easily.
Yep. So this person said, like she said, agree. Mine had a baby. I'm still talking to him. Like, it's so hard. Well, are you ready to be a stepmom to a baby that was made out of during your relationship? Because that doesn't get better. If they have a baby while you're like, if a narcissistic man has a baby with somebody else while you're actively together or still married to that person, you do realize if they want to be in that child's life, unless you want to be the person, like, you need to cut that baby off. Yikes. First of all, but unless you want to be the person that's allowed them to have family time and family pictures, then okay. You know what I mean? Because if you stay in that relationship, you still talk to them, he thinks it's okay. Like, well, damn, I'm gonna smooth it over sooner or later. Sooner or later, she's gonna give in. The water and the rock. If the water continuously hits the rock, it's gonna make a hole through it sooner or later. That's how you get a river stream through a mountain. I'm just telling you, if there's no barrier, if there's no boundary in place, that water's gonna run into it. You're gonna be over here raising the kid that was made when they cheated on you, and then he's gonna end up leaving you for her. And he's like, "No, I forgave you for everything." And he's like, "Well, you didn't have to do that."
Right.
I wouldn't have done it for you. They would say that directly to you. So
there's a good comment that said, intermittent reinforcement is a narcissist's strongest tactic.
Where did it say that? I think I missed that. Intermittent reinforcement is a narcissist. Oh, okay, yeah. So I don't see it in the chat, y'all, because I'm probably way behind. But yeah, if y'all don't know what intermittent reinforcement is or breadcrumbing, it's when, like, when a narcissist starts to devalue you and withhold stuff like love, care, affection, all of that good stuff. When they start to do all that stuff to you, when they start to withhold that stuff to you, and then you leave, you get ready to leave, they'll give you a little bit. They'll give you a little breadcrumb to keep you to stay. Because a hug means so much more when you haven't got one in 3 months. A kiss on the cheek means so much more when you haven't gotten one in 6 months. I love you means so much more when you haven't heard it in a year. Little stuff like that. When they know they're about to, like I said, when they know that they're about to, they know you're about to leave, or they feel like they feel the energy, your energy low. Come here, girl, give me a hug right now. I love you. I love you. Ain't going nowhere. Blah blah blah. Boop boop boop.
Right. And that's part of that like cognitive dissonance, right? Of like where they scream at you and then they say they love you, back and forth.
Well, the highs and lows and things like
Mhm.
that. So, does a narcissist recognize when being mirrored? Can you tell when people act like so I do because
When
I'm
mirroring or when being mirrored?
mirror with somebody. I guess somebody's matching their energy. That's how I'm reading it as. Like somebody's matching my energy, trying to act like me. I love that because I read so many body language books. So if you're acting like me and mirroring me, that means you either attracted to me or you're trying to mock me. So I take it depending on what situation we are in. Like if you're my wife or something like that, then that's might bring up some anger and argument. Why are you acting like me? What are you doing? You know, somebody out in public that's mirroring you, that means that they're attracted to you. If you're rubbing your hair and they're doing the same thing, they're mirroring you. That means that they're matching you. I mean, that's like it's a body language. I've read so many body language books. Yeah, I'm just I'd be obsessed with silliness like that. Did you raise you should stand up at your
I
desk?
did. I did.
It's standing desk.
It only works so well. Like my background is kind of like messed up with the shelf that I have here and all, but
yeah.
But
yeah. Let's see if I can fix it. Oh, does that fix it a little bit? I'm trying to set it up a little bit. But,
oh yeah, how you switch
this?
it looks like yeah, that works.
Did they help you out right there?
There you go.
It's just another. It's just like another little view. Why does my narcissist?
I have my phone sideways, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So why does my narcissist use my faith in God to hoover me every month? I'm just telling you. So that's the part right there because it's God. Do you feel like God put you here to be punished or to put you here to suffer? Because I feel like your religion, like, are y'all still married or something like that? Because I feel like if you're married, that's the whole different thing. But if it's your boyfriend or your something like that, that's different. But like if it's your husband using God, if he's doing terrible stuff to you, if he's treating you terribly, then there's a difference between submission and being tortured. You can submit to your husband without being tortured and not without being a servant to that person or a slave to that person. And like hoover you every month. Like, are y'all like? So I feel like this is kind of open ended. Like every month, like on the third of the month.
I think the thing with that too is like a narcissist will use anything in your life to be able to control you. So the fact that he might be using your faith in God to control you and to keep you strung out longer for abuse means that you need to set up boundaries in your life. You need to set up boundaries so that he doesn't do that. But if the narcissist is coming across like, oh, like I prayed to God and I think we should be together, like, but he's still abusing you, like he doesn't have faith in God. He's just an abuser. Like that's the thing that I feel like a lot of people like tie to stuff of like, oh, I got abused by a Christian. Like, no, you got abused by an abuser. Like when it really comes down to it, like you can't have someone who says they're Christian, that says they've had a impactful event with a being higher than themselves, and they haven't produced a change in their lives. So if they haven't produced a change in their lives, then you can't just keep saying like, oh, it's a Christian that's abusing me. No, it's an abuser who probably isn't a Christian at all. They're just touting religion as a way to be able to control you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. I love the explanation right there. You're not being manipulated or abused by a Christian. I love that right there. You're being abused by an abuser. I love that right there. So that actually helps me because, like I said, because that helps me differentiate between the two by myself. Because like I just see people use their Christian label and do terrible things. I like stop doing that. You just like I'm a Christian, but here's my third, fifth, ninth affair partner. And like it's just like stop like it's just a lot. You know what I mean? Abuse. Right. Abuse is magnified if you return. Yes. The more times you go back, the worse it gets. And a lot of times, the more times you go back, narcissistic people, like some people start to pity you. Like, why? Like, damn, they look like and feel like they have used you up to the point that you're no good to them anymore. So you come back too much, they'll discard you just for coming back. Like, damn, I done used you up. I done got everything from you. You're pathetic now. Bye. And then guess what? You end up broken because of that.
Yeah.
So that's a lot right there. So yeah.
Well, yeah, and the abuse a lot of times is accelerated. I guess I'd use that word as too. Like when you return, because when you return, a lot of times how the narcissist twists it in their mind is because you return, you've just excused and justified everything that I've done to you. So that means I can do more to you. And that means, and when you return, the baseline that you left at is my new normal. And we can continue going from there.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Like I said, you make it okay when you go back. I know that we're not victim blaming. We're just literally telling you when you go back, You're just saying, okay, I'm cool with what happened before, and here I am. This person says, Sarah says, once you're so far in, how do you differentiate between who is the true narcissist and who isn't? Is it you or is it them? I feel like sometimes you have to get away from it. Sometimes you have to get away to clear your head. Now, because I feel like if you're super confused, are you open to going to therapy and things like that? Or are you open to try to change? I feel like if those questions, the answers to those questions are yes, then you can kind of eliminate you being a narcissistic person. Like, I'm only this way. Damn. I just feel like take some time to yourself. That if you're open to working on yourself and trying to change without somebody having to pressure you into therapy or force you there, I feel like that's how you can kind of answer your own question right there.
So I have a super cool like little story, but so like someone that I dealt with like a month or so ago that came through my trauma bond workshop with a couple other people, and she came through, and in that she asked the question, like, I can't tell at times if I'm the narcissist or if he's the narcissist. And the crazy thing is, like, we started doing one-on-ones, we've done some coaching and stuff, and I actually got off one like earlier today, and like the change in her over like several sessions has just been absolutely incredible. Like, she's taking her power back, she's blocking the guy, like we're figuring out and setting up like different like milestones and things that she's working on to set like her purpose, her intention. And like she said, like difference right now is like now she's starting to live her life with intention, like intentionally living the direction that she needs to go, where before she couldn't, because the narcissist controlled all the time, controlled all the aspect, and just kept her in that fog every single time.
So there you have it. Rena says, second on observing, they can watch you, but you can do the same, and then you can see how fragile they really are, and the why behind why their actions become clear once you take a step back. Yeah, so that kind of goes into, I think she's just adding to what Heather said earlier about observe, don't absorb. Yeah, if you take a step back, you can see who they really are. If you remove the emotions, the emotional reactions to what they're doing to you, and you see what they're actually doing, and you see how fragile and insecure most narcissistic people are, you'll see them for who they really are. You can take a step back and just like, this is not the same person I fell in love with. This is, this kind of a caricature of who that person was. So I think this is what you mean, Rena. But if you're the same Rena that I've been talking to,
and that's some of the stuff that like I try to work with people on whenever I do like one-on-ones, and that's like differentiating between the feelings versus like the facts of the situation, because so often people are stuck with the feelings and they're stuck with the emotion. A lot of times that's what's underlying with trauma bonds and things like that, like the hope that's there or the shame of like I could have done something better, and like splicing it down like level by level of like, hey, what are you actually like, what's the feelings, what's the emotion, what's the fable that you're telling yourself, and then what's actually the facts about the situation. And they start getting down to it. And like when I get to the place sometimes where I ask the question of like, how did your narcissist demonstrate love to you, and they're just like, oh, like when they start realizing like, hey, like it's got to be more than just them saying it. But sometimes people come into it and be like, oh, like we just had a great connection, or we just loved each other so much. And I'm like, really? Like, let's break it down from your feelings all the way down to the story you're telling yourself to the facts of the situation. You start realizing, you start cutting through that fog. Really, that's what it is.
Nope.
Excuse me.
You get through it. Like I said, what Ben just said. Somebody had a good question. I just like literally missed it. Lee Hammock mental. Oh, that's something different. Appreciate it. Thank you. So I said thank you. You need to leave now. Yeah. Sinful says, I definitely got treated. Yeah, see, even Sinful says, Sinful, who is a, she's on YouTube. She's a large creator on TikTok, Instagram, and she's everywhere too, y'all. She's, got good skits too. She says she definitely got treated way worse each time I let him come back, which is, see, there's evidence to support. Right. Like every time you go back, it does in fact get worse. And he was like he had like an old junk car shop in her front yard or whatever in a subdivision. Hey, Skylar Jackson, how you doing? There was another question. Sorry, y'all. I'm going through. I'm trying to I was putting links into your stuff, Ben. Found out he was cheating the whole time. Does it mean he felt like he might be cheating on his new supply with his wife? You left him though. Okay. So let me read this again slowly. It says, I found out he was cheating the whole time. Does it mean he felt like he might be cheating on his new supply with his wife? So like you got replaced. So if you were his wife and he was cheating on you, do you think he replaced you with the new supply and like you were kind of the side piece? I mean, that happens sometimes if they leave you and then you keep you somehow you turn into the side piece. They cheat on you, leave you. Y'all have some kind of closure conversation. You go back into that thing, and then you end up being the side piece to their relationship. Like, look, I love you a little bit more. I'm not really happy over here. I'm just, I'm just working things out. And then they building houses together, they're having kids together, and you still waiting for them to come back. But don't do that. You said she said she left though. But I mean, it could get to that point though. If they have, it's not like he was having. It's not like he was having a full blown relationship with that person though, the entire time. Yikes. What are your thoughts on that? Right there?
I know. Like, I know when I was with the girl with BPD with narc traits. Like, I know coming out of that and kind of like some of the, I would say, like trauma bond that I kind of experienced with that. Like, there was times that coming back into the relationship that I thought that I was cheating on her with my wife.
Oh, so he just answered. He said, "Yeah." So he said, "Yeah." So he has experience with that, y'all. So yeah, he just directly answered your question. So y'all said, check Ben's channel out, y'all. We're both, like I said, we're both self-aware narcissists, but Ben has a different perspective because we live different lives, So raw motivations on YouTube, raw motivations on Facebook, raw motivations Instagram, TikTok. Do they really mean all the horrible things they say to you, or is it just a tactic to hurt you? He always says, he always says, "Oh, I said that to make you mad." So do they mean what they say when they're yelling at you and raging at you? I'm gonna say, yeah, they mean it, but it doesn't make it true because they say stuff with intent to hurt you. Yeah, so I feel like both things can be true in your statement right here.
I think it's like both, yeah.
Yeah. Do they mean it? And is it to hurt you? Yes, I feel like both things are true, but it doesn't make it actually true. They'll say a whole bunch of BS to hurt your feelings and things like that. And when they do it, it's in the moment, in the break. I've said some heinous stuff when I was being angry, and I absolutely meant it in that moment. But it was not true. I know how to, if that person knows you, they know how to hurt you. They know what triggers you and how to get to you. So do they mean it when they say it? Yeah. But again, it does not make it true. And like I said, people say stuff in the moment of rage sometimes. Sometimes I remember raging and stuff just comes out. I just like, right. If I bottled it up, if I thought it, it just comes out in the moment. I'm like, I said some evil stuff tonight. Like, yikes, and go to sleep. I wake up in the morning feeling good or whatever, but that's the way of the world right there. First live. Thank you. Sorry, y'all. It's like I'm out here trying to plug YouTubes and stuff like that. Don't tell him. They talking in the chat. I love when I see y'all talking in the chat. I love that. So like
I like catch a question or two and then like I lose it because it keeps going up.
Trauma bond the trauma bond is a real thing, y'all. Having good boundaries and him doing the work, only then okay to go back. Like, would it hinder their progress or X is out of the question? I'm a little confused by that.
I think that's like where they're asking like if they have good boundaries and the narcissist is doing the work, is it okay then to go back to them, or will that slow down them changing, or is it like once you're next, like never go back kind of a
thing? So that's one of them kind of slippery slopes right there, y'all. I just feel like that's a question you have to answer because, like, yeah, of course, like, do I want to see other narcissistic people put it into work? Yes, I really 100,000% do. That's been my goal since my very first YouTube video. 100%. I want narcissistic people to go to help, go get therapy, go to help, and stop ruining their lives and the lives of people around them. I 100% want them to do that, but with that coming in there, I don't want people to do that as a tactic of manipulation to get you back. So I say it's like, why rush getting back together? If they really want to work, they should be able to take time to themselves. They should be able to leave you alone. Can they leave you alone? Because I've talked to people on a consistent basis. I was like, can they leave you alone? Like, we broke up and he's trying to come back. Like, he wants to go to therapy.
Can they give you space?
Yeah. Can he give you space? That's the only thing that really matters. Take the relationship off the table. See what happens. Will they still go to therapy? Yeah. Will they still go? Because that's what matters. They have to go for them. They can't go to make you happy because it doesn't work that way. They can't go to therapy to make you happy.
And that's something like I knew, like whenever like Kayla left, like I knew, like regardless if she comes back or if she stays gone, like I'm still going to be continuing therapy because I need to get out of the cycle. Like I need to get out of where I'm going, But like I knew that was like early on that like I need to make sure whether I'm with her or whether I'm not, like therapy is going to be a huge part of my journey.
I tell this to people all the time. I say my wife would walk in here, it's like it's over again. Would they get on my nerves? Yes. But would I still go to therapy? Like would I go would they
I love when
it
you
would get
just
on my
say it like so casually. Would that get on my nerves? Yeah, you know. For most people, they'd be like heartbroken, but you know.
like damn, like I've been putting the work in, like goddamn, but like I still have to put the work in because it's for me. You know, I can't stop working on myself. You know what I mean? So that was
I was
good.
gonna ask because I've had some people like mention stuff before, but like when you think of like narcissism and you think of like a narcissist, what are your thoughts about rock bottom?
So I feel like rock bottom is different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because my rock bottom is probably different than your rock bottom. You know, and your rock bottom, like everybody's rock bottom is gonna be different. My rock bottom moment came when my wife left. She had to leave. Like, what did your wife do to get you therapy? Like, she didn't do anything. She removed herself from the equation. Like, by removing herself from the equation, she wasn't there to catch me when I hit said rock bottom. I had a financial low, a mental low, a physical low. I was heavy. I was overweight again. I was eating terrible again. You know, I had all the lows at once. I wasn't where I wanted to be in life. My wife was gone. My kids were not there. I was in an empty ass house by myself, and I had no one else to blame for being where I was, other than me. Literally, it. That was it. And that's why I started looking up narcissists. Like, why she called me that? And that's really because I had nobody else to blame. I was like, she called me damn narcissist. I'm mad. I'm trying to look up the insult. You know, I'm just like, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this.
Find a way to explain it away. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this one. So, you know, my rock bottom is gonna be different than everybody else's rock bottom. Because like a rich person's rock bottom is gonna be different than mine. Like it's like, well, he's rich. How you gonna hit rock bottom? His rock bottom might have to be, or her rock bottom might have to be literally, you know, an emotional low. Or, you know, because money don't bring happiness, y'all. It gives you access to things that can make you happy, but it doesn't bring happiness to you.
I've been kind of like wondering just from talking to different people and seeing different things like that. Like I kind of wonder at times, like I wouldn't say that they never have or don't have, but I feel like it's sometimes like narcissists don't have a rock bottom. You know, it's more just like a pivot. You know, like, oh, this is my rock bottom. Well, I'm a victim because of this, so I'm gonna look at it this way. But I feel like a lot of times I guess you could say a normal person's rock bottom would be like a narcissist pivot into a new section of gaslighting themselves of I'm just a victim.
Yep. Like I said, the rock bottom, when people hit rock bottom, is different. Like I said, they can't hit rock bottom if you keep catching them. My wife left. There was nobody to catch me from hitting rock bottom. It's like I'm falling, smack, because she was gone. Y'all be ready to reach out there and like pull them up. Like, I got you. You're not going to fall and hit rock bottom.
Hey, no, that's a really good thing to point out because a lot of people don't realize how much narcissists take advantage of people. Like in talking, I mean, I'm sure you've talked to like tons of people where you talk to them and like they've invested or saved or caught their narcissist, from, ruining the house, from losing the job, from all this kind of stuff. And they're just like bleeding the other person dry. Like, I don't know about you, but like I've talked to people that have lost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because they just keep putting it into the narcissist thinking they're going to change, or they keep trying to bail them out of different things when there's no change and no effort on the other side.
Yep. They can't hit rock bottom if you keep catching them. Yeah. So Rena says, by the way, there's some literature to suggest that narcissists are easier than average to manipulate, even though they are manipulative themselves. What do you think this is? I don't know. I'm not 100% certain on that one right there. Because like you're talking to a narcissist, I'm just like, I'm not easy to manipulate, goddammit. I'm just like, I'll push back on that one. You know what I mean? But like I said, I can see that the narcissistic people, because they are so, a lot of people have their egos are so big, they don't think that they are able to be manipulated. So yeah, it kind of leaves the door open for them to be manipulated. I can understand it from that perspective right there. What do you think on that one, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really seen that. I don't know what literature is out there to be able to support that per se, but as far as like seeing a lot of narcissists like that can be manipulated, I don't know. I don't feel like I have enough like data to answer that very well.
Yeah, I think I actually know this Raina right here. So she's if this is the same reader I know, that she'll be presenting that literature here soon. You might get an email. Yeah. Having good boundaries. Oh, I think I already asked.
It's the same one. Yeah.
Sorry,
I think the next one's how do I mentally, emotionally block the idea?
Sorry, I'm just Anyway, there you go. How do I mentally block the idea of them and what he did? He destroyed me. I can't even function from anxiety now. I don't think you can mentally block it. I feel like blocking it just means you don't deal with it. I feel like that's how trauma gets repressed and it comes out later on. I feel like you have to acknowledge that you went through it. You know, if y'all seen, this is how I describe it right here. If y'all have seen the movie Finding Nemo, right? Y'all remember Nemo? It was Marlin and Dory. They got to the gap with the jellyfish, and the dude said, "Hey, you got to swim through it. Don't swim over it. You have to swim through it." And they were like, going over it and around it is easier. And they did, and the jellyfish hit them. Some things you have to go through. You can't go over it. You can't go around it. You have to process it by, acknowledging that it happened to you. But that's it also acknowledges that that's the old you. It can't happen again because now you have the knowledge and you have the knowledge and the power to not let it happen again. And nobody has the ability to destroy you. They just don't. They don't. I mean, they can hurt you. They can harm you. They can't destroy you. Only you can do that. And so, and by saying that, also say only you can build you back up. So start by day one, acknowledge it. You went through it. You survived. You're a survivor now. You're not a victim anymore. You're a survivor. You survive. You're here to tell your tale right now. You're in a chat with hundreds of other people in here telling their story. People with similar experiences. People who are going through it right now, like you are going through it. There are people who are right in your shoes, probably feeling it. They probably could have wrote this status 6 months ago, 2 months ago. Yeah. And they're further along than they are because they processed it, they dealt with it. You can't go, like I said, you can't go around it. You got to go through it. Process it.
Yeah, no, I talked to somebody just today and gave that same advice of like, if you try to get around the past, if you try to get around everything that you've gone through, then you're not going to deal with it. You have to go through it. If you don't go through it, then you're just, like you said, you're repressing it. And I think with this, like, it's really crucial to like get into therapy and like work on dealing with those things you've been through. That's why I think it was Nina in the chat earlier that mentioned like EMDR like really saved her. Like EMDR is a really great tool to be able to get therapy, EMDR therapy, to be able to process those past traumatic events, like whatever type of trauma, abuse, things like that. Like EMDR, like I don't even know the best way to describe it. EMDR is kind of like it almost like unlocks a section of your brain, helps you process certain things that you've been through in a traumatic way so that you're at the place that when those triggers pop up, when those feelings pop up, when those things pop up, it doesn't, completely sideline you like it would in the past.
So I have no experience with EMDR. Is that the light therapy where they use the lights and stuff like that?
Typically it's like eye movement, and then there's also like it's almost like you like hold like two like little like controllers and they kind of like vibrate back and forth.
Okay.
So when my wife went, they did like the eye movement with her, and then when I went, like that didn't really like work for me. So like I had to like close my eyes and like hold like the little like vibrating things back and forth, and that kind of worked. At first I thought it was like just a bunch of quacks, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And then like it finally like had like one session. It was probably like 3 or 4 sessions in that actually like kind of like broke through a layer, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. So as self-aware narcissists, are you guys constantly wearing masks in your day-to-day life? Otherwise, you're back to your old shenanigans. So I'll answer this first. Like, I just feel like the mask I wear now is less and less because I'm open and I'm honest. I'm pretty much honest about my existence. I have no reason to lie about how I'm living my life now because it's public. It's in the public eye now. Like y'all, y'all are looking at me. You're telling the truth right now about the crazy stuff that I've done. Y'all hear Ben tell his truth about his relationship and his marriage, and his growth. So I just feel like the mask. Do I still change from here to there? Yeah, I still do because but people recognize me in public now. I have so many people in my real estate office that see what I do now. They're like, "Hey, it's kind of crazy to see you here. I'm seeing you on YouTube and just like, yeah, you see me." And they don't. It's kind of funny. They don't view me any differently. Mm-hmm. They just see me as like an open, honest source of information. They don't see me as like some kind of like I'm in there with my devil horns in a real estate meeting, like I'm sitting in the back of my trident, devil in the back of the room or something like that. They don't view me that way.
That really is the difference, though. Mm-hmm. Is like the view, of like people. Like I thought people were gonna like view me differently, and I mean there are people that do, but like. When I think the biggest thing for me is like when I started having people like at work be like, oh, I was like watching your YouTube or your TikTok or stuff like that. And like, my first impression was like, oh, like they're going to view me differently. Like they're going to think I'm an awful person. They're going to think I'm like doing whatever kind of thing. But like that acceptance, I think acceptance of like what we're trying to do is is life-changing as far as like not having to even think about wearing the mask anymore. And it's just more or less trying to work on curbing the habits and the things that we've dealt with so much, or the mindset so much, that puts us down that path of the old shenanigans.
Yeah. Now were the old shenanigans fun in the moment? Probably, yeah. But I'm not there anymore. New shenanigans. So, do narcissists ever have guilt? A couple of them I noticed do sometimes. They couldn't look me in the eyes after doing something terrible without me knowing. So, me personally, my therapist asked me this. It's kind of the exact same question. She asked me to describe guilt to her. She's like, "How do you feel guilt?" And I was just like, "Well, do I feel guilty here and there?" Like, yeah, in the moment, I do feel guilty. Like if I get caught up for something or I do something heinous, do I feel guilty? Yeah, I feel guilty in the moment, but it immediately goes away. Like if I feel guilty, a moment of guilt, but then it goes away because my mind shifts to protect itself, to blame somebody else for the reason what happened to them. Like this wouldn't happen to you if it didn't happen to them. What's that? Is that the guilt circle?
Yep, that's that cycle.
Okay, Ben, tell your guilt cycle. Ben has a guilt cycle on his I
wish there was like an easy way to be able to.
Yeah, I wish you could blow it up.
I know. I need to be able to. I can do like a screen share right now. It's like hitting all the lights and stuff too. Does that read normal or is it like backwards?
Yeah, that reads normal. I said normal life. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I might be able to. No, hold on. There you go. If you shift it up a little bit more, there you go. So it says normal life, trigger, guilt. This is the guilt cycle right here. Normal life, trigger to guilt, shame, blame, anger, rage. There's a pit, and then the false lift back to the normal life. See, that's pretty much the spectrum of guilt right there.
Right.
Yep. You see it right there in written form. Yeah. Like I said, Ben has a great. I'm telling you, I follow Ben on the YouTube channel, his Facebook, Raw Motivations.
Do you want me to like explain it real quick?
Yeah, hit it.
Can you switch it back now that we're switched? Okay. Yeah. So like typically you have a narcissist, you have abuser. I mean, you just have a person in general that goes down this cycle that can happen like really easy. So you have someone who's continuing normal life per se, and they're continuing going on through life. And say this narcissist goes through life, then they hit a point, they hit a trigger, and that could be I'm getting caught cheating. That could be them called out. That could be anything in one sense. And that trigger will produce a certain type of emotion. And in a quick second, it might be that aspect of guilt. Narcissists don't want to hold on to guilt. They don't want to feel guilt because that contradicts everything about them as far as them being the perfect person, the number one, all that kind of stuff. So that guilt goes down into shame really quickly. Of like, I can't believe I'm this bad person. Can't stay into shame because that would be honest and vulnerable. And that's also not something for a narcissist to handle. So we have to be able to push that off on someone as fast as possible. So the easiest way is to blame someone. So then you're yelling at someone, you're gaslighting someone, you're saying like, hey, you're the reason why I cheated. You're the reason why I'm yelling at you. You're the reason why, et cetera, et cetera. And then you get to the place of like anger and rage because you're like super frustrated about it. Like, why aren't they accepting the blame? Like, why aren't they listening to me? Like, why aren't they respecting me? Like all this kind of stuff. And it gets you down to this, what we call like the pit. And the pit is really where you're just down the bottom of everything. You're realizing like, hey, like all this is crap, like it's going to crap. It's not going anywhere. I got to figure out how do I get away from these feelings, the shame, guilt, blame. How do I get away from these feelings? I know the fastest way is to get back up to that normal life, to get back up to what was normal, what was okay, as fast as I can. So the easiest way for a narcissist to do that is to get that false lift, is to gaslight, to manipulate, is to future fake, and to love bomb. So if I get back to it as fast as possible, like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm cheated. Hey, let's go on a vacation together so I can show you how much I love you. Like, oh, I'm sorry I cheated, but I came back and you're actually number one. We should actually get engaged and married now. Like it happens so much. And sometimes people don't correlate those things together. And the thing is that cycle will perpetuate and will always continue and continue and continue until the person is honest about what's going on, until the person deals with the trigger.
Nice. Y'all see it. Say follow Raw Motivations on all platforms, y'all. So what is the purpose of gaslighting? Is it to avoid accountability? Is it to keep the other person around? Is it to maintain control by making your partner feel like they're the one with the problem? Sorry, y'all. I had a burp fit right there. But I feel like, so gaslighting to me, this is just, I don't know. I just like, once I understood the definition of gaslighting, I I saw it as a game, honestly. Like the more you can confuse people, the bigger the lie, the bigger thing that you got away with, the better it felt. Like, damn, I got away with that. Yikes! Wow, what more can I do?
I wouldn't say it's the second one.
The avoid accountability. Wait.
No, to keep the other person around.
No, the gaslighting. Yeah, I just feel like gaslighting. It's more along the lines to like it differs for everybody. I just feel like it's to make you question reality, because most people who are a victim of intense gaslighting think that they are crazy. I don't know the truth. What's the truth? I know I have it written down. I took pictures. I have evidence, and he's still denying it. Why? Because it keeps you confused. It keeps you off. It keeps you on your toes. There's a lot of different moving pieces to gaslighting right there, y'all. I just feel like gaslighting it really is a big game though, y'all. I just remember it was like, once I understood the definition, it is kind of funny sometimes, like to look back at myself in my life and just like, damn, I'm just like, I lived a wild, not insane, but just like I've done some huge lies and got away with them just because I made other people feel like I just confused people. Like I made them question their own reality in the moment. It's like on the spot too. No, there's no plan. It's on the spot.
Right.
Like when it comes up, like it's organic. It was like boop. Like damn, I just did that. Wow. Yikes. So I'll let you take over now.
No, you're good. I think like the purpose really boils down to control. I think it really like boils all of that together. Is like I'll gaslight to avoid accountability, because I don't want to take responsibility. So I'll make you feel crazy so you're not looking at me. Like I'll gaslight to put you on the defensive so that you're not attacking me, you're actually looking at it. I maybe like on the aspect of gaslighting to keep the other person around, I'm like, no, that didn't exist. Like I didn't cheat. Like what are you talking about? Trying to keep that. But I think ultimately it's control, because if you're gaslighting, you're putting someone in. I like to use the word fog. Like, I feel like that's one of the best ways is like a narcissist puts another person in a fog that they can't see straight. They can't understand what's going on. And gaslighting is like a perfect example of you put the other person in a complete fog of not knowing what's left, right, up, and down. And so as a result, if you put someone in that fog, then you're the person that they think can lead them out of the fog. And so as a result, you put people with gaslighting, it's all about that control. I'm controlling your perception. I'm controlling the fog that you're in. So as a result, I also can dictate which way you go.
Oh, that's powerful right there. That's super powerful. So let me answer this question right here. So, but why not find a new supply when your wife left late? So I'm going to tell you, so again, control. Like, so I feel like it gives me more power over your regular average run-of-the-mill narcissist to control what I do and how I do it. So could I find a new supply? Yes, I just could. Y'all like, Lee, that sounds narcissistic. You sound conceited right now. I could find a new supply. I just could. We're not gonna argue that. Y'all can try to in the comment section if you want to. But it just gives me more power. And like I said, it showed me how it gives me more power to be in control of my actions by not doing that, to work on myself. I like that. When my wife left, I was just like, you know what? Did the thought cross my mind? Like, I'm free now. I can go do what I want to with no repercussions. But it also crossed my mind just like, right now you can work on yourself and become the best version of yourself possible. What gives you more power in the long run? Boom. So yeah, I could find a new supply. But it was like, I love my wife. I told you I was gonna work on myself regardless. My wife's best friend said I had a 1% chance of getting her back when she left. So so you're saying there's a chance. Jim Carrey. They are easy to manipulate. Damn, I'm way behind. Sorry, y'all. I'm scrolling. Yes, anybody can be manipulated, y'all. Nobody's manipulation proof. Nobody's abuse proof either. Yes, I'm still seeing Finding Nemo references. I haven't been scrolling. Sorry, y'all. I was gravely sick the Christmas vacation, and our kid had COVID. He didn't offer me even a glass of water. I gave him his Christmas card, and they played the food on New Year's Eve. No contact, but he tries to, RH, reverse Hoover. So in this situation right here, this is kind of goes into the parent. How are you when you're sick, Ben?
Oh, I'm awful.
Versus, how are you when your wife is sick?
It's still awful. Just keeping it real.
At least you're honest.
like I think Kayla said one time, she was like, I think all men turn narcissistic whenever they get sick, but she's like, whenever you're sick, like it's awful, because I'm just like, the worst. And then when she's sick, I mean, I'm trying to get better now, obviously, but like when she was always sick, like it was just an inconvenience. Like, you know, why aren't you still doing everything that you normally do while healthy and like taking care of like whatever, you know, like how dare you get sick and inconvenience me, you know, that kind of a thing. But in reality, like I'm trying not to be as like dramatic and all that kind of stuff, but like, you know, the being sick is just a bigger chance to have the attention all on me, because, you know, supply can be positive or negative in that aspect.
Yeah. So me, I've gotten better because I was kind of the same way. I was getting better because I used to like, I'm sick. I'm just like, again, when I'm sick, it's kind of, I go to the why me type stuff. Like, why me? Like, why, how the hell am I the only one with a cold in the house? Like, we live together. Why me? You know, why am I not the only one with a stomach ache or headache and stuff like that? And I would blame the whole house or whatever. You know, but now I'm a lot better now. I'm more along the lines. But like a lot of narcissistic people, they show their true colors when you are sick. You say gravely sick, and they didn't offer you a cup of water. Some people are like, they're a little darker than narcissists, y'all. They'll watch you die. Sometimes like, damn, finally, she's gonna die. And that's kind of scary to take you back to deal with. He's trying to reverse Hoover. Don't Hoover yourself back into a situation where a person like, hey, you'll be over there breathing, you can't breathe. Like, can you call the hospital? Like, call them yourself. And they'll go turn on the movie. You hear the PlayStation beep, like beep. Or, you know, they'll go watch a movie or something like that. You know, so you hear the Netflix thing go on. Though, don't go back to a situation like that. That's just kind of scary. It does get super scary, y'all. I got some spam in here. Great live. Look, see? Great live, guys. Appreciate it, y'all. Why, man, like this? How long? We've been on here. Hour and 40. Time be flying. When we
I know, right? I feel like we've been focused too. We've answered a decent amount of questions. Sometimes when we're on TikTok, it's like everywhere, you know? I think TikTok, the difference is you can't control the questions. So like you could pop it up on the screen. If TikTok had that, like, well, they do, but we haven't used it that much. But like it's a lot easier to stay focused on one. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like, why can't the narc know everything you've ever wanted for them and tell you everything that they did wrong in their Hoover, but then ghost you the next day? Because that's how they hold on to you right there. That's how they keep you on the hook right there. That's like taking the bait. Hey, I'm going to tell you everything that I did wrong, and I still love and care about you, but now I'm going to ghost you because now you want more. That keeps you on the hook right there because now April Roberts, now you want some closure. Now you need closure, right? Because now the door is swung back open, you know. Yeah. You know, and it's typically like, I'm pretty sure they didn't tell you everything that they did wrong. But probably some more behind the scenes. Like they probably told you the stuff that they felt like you needed to know. Right. You know, which is kind of scary, but you know.
Trickle truth whenever they get caught.
Well, just look the slow drip. They already knew. Sorry. I'm scrolling through these comments really quick, y'all. So I know. I'm sorry. Truly appreciate the work you both do. What made you decide to? So what do you feel like? So what do you, after your first therapy session that you wanted to stay in, what do you feel like was a determining factor for you to stay in therapy?
I feel like I already knew that I would need to stay in therapy before I went to therapy. Like before I went to that one, because I'd already been with the EMDR for a little bit and kind of learned a little bit. But as far as like what made me decide to stay in therapy, I think it was just understanding like if I don't, then I go back to that hell.
Yeah. So in that situation, so I'm gonna tell you, mine is kind of one of the stories, like because like I had been working on myself personal development wise way before I went to therapy, and I was reading the book. I was reading the book, and it said a poem. There was a poem in the book by Haruki Murakami about the storm. I heard the poem. I was like, wow, that poem describes my life. I stopped the book. I went on Google. I screenshot the poem and put it in my screensaver so I would see it every time I open my phone. So my first therapy, I'm sitting in the therapist's office. I'm in there rocking, nervous, like how this is gonna go. Am I gonna lay in the therapist chair and like tell it, like cross my arms, like, you know, and tell her my story, or how's this gonna go? I'm super nervous, you know. I'm doing my little nervous ticks or whatever. And then I look on the wall, on the picture, on the wall is that poem that's in my screensaver. So I was just like, this is where I'm supposed to be at. You know, awesome. If y'all don't know the poem, it's by Haruki Murakami. It's called The Storm. It says, and once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure whether the storm is really over, But one thing is certain: when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in, and that's what the storm is all about. And that right there, I was like,
Wow.
whew. And that was on the wall. Yeah, that was on the wall. They can describe the narcissistic relationship. They can describe going to therapy as a narcissist. They can describe, like, you're not gonna be the same person you walk into this therapist's office. You're not gonna be the same person when you walk out. When you go into this relationship with this narcissistic person, toxic person, whatever, you won't be the same person when you walk out. But that's the purpose of the storm, though. You have to reframe your experience. Some people just like, I wasted 30 years, and some people come out like, damn, I got to, they reframe it and they live different. The circle of gifts. Sorry, I'm scrolling. I don't even know what this is. You know what this is, man?
Nope.
I had to look it up right there.
I'll have to Google it.
I was like,
spell it first.
Alex is Alex Athemia. I see Alex
a broad term to describe problems with feeling emotions. In fact, this Greek term was used in Freudian psychodynamic theories, loosely translates to no words for emotion. While the condition is not well known, it's estimated that 1 in 10 people have it.
I think I shared a meme with that one time. I think I shared a meme on Facebook with the exact same term.
To describe problems with feeling emotion. I don't think narcissism is problems feeling emotion. It's oftentimes problems like processing it, controlling it, or like understanding it. Yeah,
I would agree with that. So yeah. So sorry, discarded diva. I feel like you and incarnated love would like each other. I know both of y'all. I feel like y'all have similar personalities. I feel like y'all should be friends somehow. And yeah, Carly, I know who you are. I seen Carly pay out like, that's red high heels. How you doing? But thank y'all everybody for coming through here. So what you say? I've had multiple narcissists in my life. Do most people have multiple? Anyone else? Is there something to this, or is it just a coincidence? It really just depends. Sometimes you grow up with narcissists in your life and you can't control who you grow up. You can't control your parents. You can't control who your parents have you around. There's nothing you can really do about how you were raised. I mean, that's sometimes that's how you were raised. You can't control who your parents are. But when you grow up, you get to these relationships, you can pick your relationship partner, and typically sometimes you end up with narcissistic people because of your upbringing, because of either your upbringing. And Central had a very good video about this the other day. I think she's still here. I wish she was here to say what she said in her video, because she said she had a very good upbringing, but her wanting to fix people, her wanting to heal people, drew her to a broken person who just happened to be a narcissist. She wants to fix him. He's like. And he wanted to fix his cars in her front yard, and she wanted to fix him. It was just like, it was a relationship there. I'm going to let you knock this one out, though, man.
No, yeah, I've seen like the same thing with like multiple people. Like, there's not, I feel like there's not like one answer for sure for all of it. I know there has been definitely people that I've like talked to where they've been attracted to a narcissist and they've been attracted to another one. And sometimes it goes back to just the work that hasn't been done, in their life, because they've been brought up in a household that was abusive, or they were brought up in a household where they were codependent on someone else. And as a result, like, they haven't had the chance, or they haven't worked on themselves to be able to get to the place where they're confident in who they are, and they're actually making sure that they have good boundaries set in place, and they're able to work on, their confidence and their growth to be able to identify that. Otherwise, what happens in like the narcissistic abusive like relationship, that becomes normal, or it's been normal because of their upbringing. And as a result, a lot of times it's what they'll go after, or what they'll seek, because it's already comfortable. It's already something they've been used to in one sense.
Yep. There you have Ben's perspective on that one right there. So can a narc pick up after his father narcissist? What do you think about that right there?
I guess they're kind of thinking like, well, a narc who has a son, will they turn out to be a narcissist or something like that? I mean, really, I think it depends on the emotional development and, the vulnerability and the safe place that is given for them to be able to grow and emote and learn how to process things, how to process feelings and stuff like that. So like, if they're brought up in a household by a narcissist, they might have a higher tendency of getting narcissistic traits or something like that. But yeah, I think that's all I got.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of narcissistic people become like, if their father is a narcissist or not in their lives, they become, some people try to avoid being like them so much so that they become just like them. I'm not gonna be like my father. He was a terrible person. So you avoid dealing with the stuff that they did to you. Again, you go around it instead of through it, you end up just like them because you try to go around that. Like I said, they find an ego. You try to go around it. You try to go around the trauma that you got put through. And you end up meeting that same person at the top of it. You will find your destiny on the very same road you take to avoid it. So you go over, instead of going through it, you try to go over it, you'll meet that same destiny. You become just like your father or worse. You know, if my father was an alcoholic drunk, I'm not going to be anything like him. Instead of avoiding what he did to you or what you went through, you go around it and you meet, guess what happens to you? You pick up a vice. You start drinking. You start dealing with that stuff and stuff. You end up just like him. A lot of people say I look like my dad and I act like him too. And he was my dad was in my life, but he wasn't super active. He was, more like the friend and things like that. The friends you see every once in a while type shit like that, playing basketball. I ain't gonna put that on the screen. Linda, sorry, y'all. I'm going to do these comments. I'm way behind. I get to talking and scrolling. If y'all haven't followed Ben, like I said, check Ben out. Raw Motivations on all platforms, y'all. Like seriously, Raw Motivations. I'm gonna let Ben. I'm gonna keep scrolling, try to get to the bottom.
What is I'm seeing more like the live ones right now. Tweety just put in Ben and Lee are better than my grad school professors. Ben and Lee have more knowledge about MPD and cluster B stuff.
I feel like we present different perspectives though, y'all, because they I'm telling you, some of these therapists, psychologists, Carrie, she be dropping some bombs, y'all. Follow psychologist Carrie, she dropped the book too. I'm gonna go live for her pretty soon. She just dropped the book and she be dropping some knowledge bombs. I'm telling you, we present perspective. Like our perspective is gonna be like real life, like everyday stuff. Like you're gonna hear it from us as we are living it. Some psychologists have been through it. Some therapists have been through it dealing with narcissistic people. Other people rely, on the book knowledge and things like that. So different experiences, different strokes for different folks.
But you've had different interactions with people, and it's actually interesting because where I live, one of the people around saw my videos to interact with Kayla, and she actually mentioned hey, I've actually dealt with a narcissistic abusive relationship, and she was in the health profession and stuff like that, trying to help people. And I remember you've mentioned you've talked to people psychologists and counselors and stuff like that sometimes they just don't see it and they get involved in those relationships too. And it's kind of crazy because they think oh, I should have saw it, but it comes in different waves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it comes in different ways. Does a narcissist realize how much they hurt they cause their partner, and does it affect them any?
I guess you're waiting on me to go.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, scrolling. Sorry, I was softballing up.
I think a lot of times they don't realize the hurt because it doesn't I want to say it's almost like object constancy. It's almost like it doesn't exist. Your hurt is not greater than my hurt because I hurt more than you. I have more things going on than you. I'm the center of the universe. Then your problems are tiny. So they don't really acknowledge a lot of times how much they hurt you. And in the moments of clarity where they realize oh, the reason why she's crying is because I just made her cry. That's something that goes through that cycle really fast. I feel that I feel the shame from it. I gotta blame her, yell at her more, rage at her more. And then we go back through the cycle over and over again, kind of thing. So I think there's a big aspect that a lot of times they don't realize in one sense how much hurt because they disconnect from it of that doesn't exist. For me, I disconnected from a lot of things early on in our marriage because my wife was struggling with, either depression or anxiety or different things like that. And for me, I was I don't struggle with that. So it must not be real. You must just be making it up, or you must just need to be more confident or whatever. Because in my world, in my perspective, that didn't exist. So then it wasn't real.
No. Oh, great answer from Ben. Yeah. Check out Raw Motivations. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Happy to give you both some supply. I love that poem too, Lee. Will you both share your perspective about a spouse leaving terminal ill narc husband guilt? How do you feel about that? She's leaving her narcissistic spouse is terminally ill and she's leaving. What do you think about that? So I feel like y'all, my lack of empathy is gonna kick in here in a second. So y'all buckle up.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was I don't know how to respond to that empathetically. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just let y'all know. Buckle
I
up.
shouldn't laugh. That's a bad question.
But you know, I feel like we on the same wavelength right here. I was just what would they? So if you were terminally ill, how would they treat you? I was if the shoe was on the other foot, how would you be treated? Hey, narcissist husband, I'm terminally ill. I need your support. Do you think they would be there to support you at the end, or would they leave? My narcissist, I got 6 months to look because I've experienced this before, y'all. When I did a one-on-one with a person, her name was April Rombers, rest her soul. She got diagnosed with terminal cancer, breast cancer, and her husband left her, cheated on her. She got diagnosed with terminal breast cancer, and her husband like literally 100% left her by herself. They had a 3-year-old, 4-year-old. He went just left her for new supplies on the beach, traveling, doing steroids, all kinds of crazy stuff that he was doing or whatnot. You know what I mean? So we got to that point. Allegedly, this is what April told me, y'all. I know he might watch it or some shit like that, but you know, in the end, like he left her on her deathbed, and she fought and clawed to her end of her last thing she sent to me. She had one custody of her daughter, so even if she passed away, her husband would not get custody of their daughter when she passed away. He left her to die by herself while he was going to a new supply and did his thing by herself. And like he was like she was posting videos about dying and stuff like that. He was in the comment section talking shit, like laughing at her. You know, he's like ha ha ha, stuff like that, picking on her while she was passing away. And you know, I just feel like that right there kind of disconnects for me. So I just feel like, would they do the same thing for you? You know, and you're gonna be there for him on his way out, and then like what if the last thing he says to you is some kind of evil hatred stuff? So his last words to you are evil. You know, I just feel like there's a lot of moving pieces right there. You're gonna deal with guilt and things like that. But for me personally, I'm just like, I feel like he's gonna kill you on the way out, mentally, emotionally. That's my personal thoughts on it. I don't let Ben take his. Like, of course, you might have some little bit more empathy than me, Alinde Zane. Do what you feel is best for you. Protect your peace.
I would pretty much agree. I think you summed it up, and you've also had a little bit more experience, like you said, with that story than I have.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I just feel like what they do for you? It's just like, would they do the same thing for you? Would they offer you that same courtesy on the way out to take care of you? Be safe. I mean, I just always protect your peace. How do I safely leave when MPD spouse doesn't work? How so? I feel like it's always make a plan. Because I think I saw Heather put a story of her 18-month plan. She said she couldn't work, so she had reconstructive knee surgery, and she was out of work for 18 months, which is why she had to make a plan. So my story is always my advice is always make a plan. You can act abruptly in the moment if that benefits you, but like making a plan just helps better. Because like if you make a plan to stay gone, you will stay gone. If you make a plan in the moment, you're like, did I make the right choice? Did I make a mistake? What I do? Let me go back. I want to leave them by themselves. You know, that's what I just feel like. They are it. Sorry, I'm still scrolling. I'm trying to get through the bottom of these questions, y'all. Cause I gotta get ready to hop over. My wife, I can hear her just pacing upstairs. I love you guys. Going to bed soon. Hey, Heather, love you too, girl. Go to sleep. Get some rest. And that's Heather Coleman Voss, y'all. Check her out on YouTube too. She got some good stuff on YouTube.
Yeah,
I
think Kayla might have fell asleep. She didn't respond.
So Aisha asked earlier if narcissists can be good people. Well, here you go. Thank you both for your insight and advice. I don't think you realize how much you're helping people. I appreciate you. Like I said, but it's an active choice to be a good person, y'all. Like I said, self-awareness, from my perspective, doesn't mean you're going to be a good person. It's an active choice. It takes hard work because my brain is like, boop, 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 boop. The narcissistic thoughts, I know people are just like, are you still thinking the same? Like the narcissistic thoughts. So that's my first thought is self-serving. I'm like, I'm going to serve self first, you know. But sometimes you have to take that and push it to the side. Like, okay, greater good. What's up? No, let me see how I can help. You know, I just have to push it to the side a little bit.
Right.
But how you feel about that, Ben?
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely see that. Like you can have people in all walks of life, all types of personalities that are good or bad kind of a thing. And with the narcissist, it is a choice. And a lot of people don't want to admit that it's a choice. Like they either demonize them or they say like, you know, there's no possibility, but like there is a choice because you see that choice shown every single day with how the narcissist interacts with you versus how the narcissist interacts with people that they work with or the friends that they have. Like they always make a choice and might be conscious or subconscious or just habitual, you know, but they normally make a choice of how they're going to treat other people. So I do think that, you know, narcissists can be good people, but they can't get to a place of any type of goodness until they find a place of where they're standing. And that's the problem is the majority of them are lost because they're not willing to be vulnerable, honest about where they are. So even if you put a map out and you said, hey, show me where you are, they're not gonna be able to show you where they are because that would take honesty. And honesty would be like, hey, like I'm in the middle of this and I'm in all this shit because of everything I've done. And as a result, there's no direction. They can't get any better, and they can't focus on that being good because they can't identify even where they are.
This is perfect. And so somehow my brain literally just went blank just now, y'all. Sorry. So many questions, stuff like that. So how do you guys deal with people who think that narcissists can be like you and become self-aware? I think we answered something similar to that earlier. But I always just say, like, how do you guys deal with people who think? I always tell them, like, actually, this is the question you need to present to them, because therapy for myself is Ben as well, is a lifelong commitment. It's not just like I signed a 3-year contract to do therapy and then I'm out of it. Once I do my 3 years, I'm done. It's like therapy is a lifelong commitment, because I have to check in. I have to have these monthly check-ins, or I'll just revert back to my old behavior, because I had 32 years of the old me, and it's easier to go back to 32 years of being pre-programmed as opposed to 4 years of effort and work. So I just feel like, ask your significant other, are they willing to go to therapy for the rest of their lives? Because a lot of times you had trouble to get them to one therapy appointment. But for the rest of their lives, ask them that. I just feel like that's the question right there. And most people are going to say, damn, no. So
yeah. Yeah, I think for me, like, sometimes I'll walk out of therapy, or like now that we're doing some therapy, like, together, walk out and be like, okay, I'm healed, all good, like, let's move on, But like, no, like, it's gonna be a long-term thing. It's not like that. But like, I think whenever I talk to people, like, I just tell them, like, you gotta put in the work. Like, you gotta, really just try to be as honest with people. Like, if you're a narcissist, or if you have narcissistic tendencies, like, you have to stop fucking lying, and you have to start doing the work. And if you're not willing to do that, then, like, stop even pretending, because like that's like the worst part, is when you're just stringing people along, or trying to say, like, oh, I'm going to change, all this kind of stuff. Oh yeah, someone asked in the chat, and then they asked, like, again, like, future faking. So like, future faking is just like the concept of trying to promise something down the road to avoid immediate accountability, or immediate uncomfortability, or immediate vulnerability, I guess you could say. You're trying to get the other person to be thinking long term versus thinking like in the moment of what's actually happening. And so a lot of times with that, you'll have that with narcissists that want to become self-aware, is they'll future fake, but then they won't actually put in the work. They won't have honest vulnerability and consistent change on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. And Carly also said something, not unless I pick the therapist. If you have to pick the therapist for them to go to, that means they're not really committed to going, y'all. Just heads up. Hey, I'm not going to hey, find me a therapist, I'll go. There got to be some effort right there on that part, y'all. There has to be effort in that sort there. But yeah, Ben, I had to hop off this thing, y'all. We didn't. I don't know how we got the 2 hours of questions, y'all. But look, if y'all already, please check out Raw Motivations on all platforms, y'all. He's on Facebook, he's on Instagram, YouTube.
I'll post my link in there again.
Yeah. Y'all see, I think I still have your YouTube channel up over here. Oh, I thought I did. It went away. Are you gonna post your YouTube? Or are you gonna post a beacon link?
I was just gonna put in my beacon link, because it has like everything. Yeah, Kayla said, like, you can't really see that we're live unless we go to your page. So I guess it doesn't give people notification. I don't know.
So if you follow my YouTube channel and you have notifications turned on, it lets you know I'm live. Or same thing with Facebook. It just
that makes sense.
Live, because I'm using StreamYard. So
I wonder if that like doesn't like automatically like connect that. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, thank y'all so much for tuning in, y'all. Has it been? You put your link. You said you put your link in there.
Yeah, I got the beacons link in there. So, or if you guys want to, just go to rawmotivations.com. You can see some stuff there. You can get linked to YouTube, to TikTok. Also, oh sweet, someone said they got a notification. So yeah, so that's good. Or on my website, that we have the one-on-ones you can schedule if you want to be able to talk like one-on-one, to be able to work through stuff, to find healing, coming out of a narcissistic relationship, or try to be able to process some of the stuff that happened.
Okay, well, perfect. I'll check out Ben. He's on YouTube channel. He posts every single day on YouTube. Consistent.
Yeah, I'll be back on Thursday. Someone was asking. Yeah, I'll be back on Thursday night.
Yeah, you go live on you go live on YouTube on Thursdays?
I didn't. I think last week I just did TikTok, but I need to make sure I'm like up on both, kind of a thing. But yeah, I normally try to do both Thursday nights. Typically like 8:45, 9 o'clock. So typically another 2 hours I do on Thursday nights.
Okay, well, perfect. I'll tell you, Ben Taylor, Raw Motivations. Y'all check him out on all platforms. Thank you for tuning in, Ben. This has been excellent. If y'all missed the live, it'll be on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna send it to Ben. Ben, you can post it on your YouTube channel as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Once it's down, it's been 2 hours. It might take a little while to download.
That's fine.
Thank y'all for tuning in. I really truly appreciate every single one of y'all. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. Thank y'all for support Ben. Go check his stuff out, y'all. I'm telling y'all every single day, new content on every single platform: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. My Facebookers, I put his link in the bio. Thank y'all for tuning in, and good night, guys. Goodness gracious.
Thanks, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, bye.